Brother Marong, how are you?
Yes, sir. Alhamdulillah, man. Alhamdulillah.
How's everything, man? Another Sunday on 40 People by the People, you know? I don't know.
I hear you.
Is it gonna be a quieter storm, or we might just push it or not a little bit?
There's always something to talk about Gambia, man.
Always.
But I didn't see it on Facebook, though. Where is it?
It says going live. That's what it says.
I think it's live.
Yeah, it is, I think.
Is it?
I think so, bro, man. Let me see. 40 People by the People is live. Brother Sariang, so how's everything? How's the family?
Everybody's good, man. Alhamdulillah, you know.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
I'm trying to. Oh yeah, we're on now. I seen that. Musa, you finally got it on now.
It's been on. It's been on.
Hey, Faramos. So how is ATL, the capital of, as you call it?
Yeah, the warm, very hot, as always, you know. But
even here, it's been very warm, man.
Yeah,
it's been very, very warm, very, very warm. You know,
you can't quarrel with that. You know how it is sometimes. For us running a big banquet, sometimes you know our utility bills definitely tends to shoot up.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. But apart from that, I mean, it's been good. You know, like every Sunday, we have these people that make it happen. And we cannot definitely forget about them, and that is Global Properties and my Jamie Canny Spice and the International World doing their number 2. Bro, when are we gonna get the ad?
That's what I just said. I said actually I want it edited. I got it, but the content was not up to par. You know, so I asked the young man to edit it and get it back to me. You know?
Yeah, so we just
believe the hype because it's that good. A true kitchen essential. Get Canny Spice products to impress your family and friends with great food, creating flavorful memories. We have pepper sauce, marinades, gourmet spices, barbecue sauces, fruit butter, African snacks, and much more. Every order gets a gift. Yes, you heard that right. Every order gets a gift. Canny Spice, it's handcrafted and all natural. We have options, you choose. Order at www.cannyspice.com.
While you have certainly heard about coronavirus, commonly called COVID, you might not know these important facts and ways to protect your family from the illness it can bring. COVID can be very contagious through air, touch, or sharing food. It has been studied at length, and we can share with you what we know so far. Who are we? We are New World International, a non-profit organization located in Washington State, and our mission is to educate people about coronavirus. The coronavirus can cause serious illness and, yes, even death if not treated right away. The symptoms are similar to the common flu: fever, cough, sore throat, and shortness of breath. Many people experience these symptoms and wait too long to seek medical attention. That can be a life-threatening mistake. Certainly, keeping a safe distance from others that appear to have flu symptoms is advisable. It's always better to be safe than sorry. If you develop these symptoms, there won't be any way for you to know that it's just a common flu unless you have a test done. It's best to seek out a doctor, nurse, health worker, or health facility to get advice and treatment if needed. If you are a student, report the conditions to your teacher right away. By all means, stay home if you are sick. Always cover your mouth and nose if you sneeze, and wash up afterward. The contagion spreads with the moisture droplets. As you have heard, there is a vaccine available for coronavirus. Seriously consider receiving a vaccine before you become ill. And above all, consult with your doctor when you do not feel well. For more information, please visit us online at newworldinternational.org.
Brother Maron.
Yes, sir.
So, yes, the Democrats hit that reset button. Another week. What's the state of the race, the presidential race, the Harris bandwagon or juggernaut, if you want to call it that, Brother Maron? How you see the race now?
Well, it's still trending, so there's more work to be done. So, but, at least people are responding positively, so which is great,
Yeah, I just saw a poll, CBS, YouGov poll that Kamala is leading by a point, 50 to 49. And of course, she's yet to name a running mate, which obviously we will know by tomorrow. What's your take on that? What's your leaning? What do you think?
I don't have any leaning, but whatever comes out is great. I think Shapiro and Mark Kelly might be the leading candidate. But again, if you look at the Senate too, you have to calculate if you put him as a vice president, what's going to come out. But ultimately, I think there's going to be excitement, and that excitement is going to take another 2 weeks, and they're going to go to the convention. They're going to create more excitement, and the guy is going to lose his mind, and he's going to start saying all kind of crazy stuff,
Yeah. I think I left you a message last week. There is this governor of Minnesota. I like him. I just like his personality.
Yeah, but I like him. But he's a little old, though. You can't make those arguments.
No, you're not fair with what do you mean by it?
No. But if you're talking about, I'm not talking. I'm taking a swipe at you guys who sit on here and say, "Oh, he needs to get out." No. But hold on. It's no. I'm getting right back to you. Because if you're making an argument that the man needs to step down because he's old, now you got a candidate that is, younger than the other side. Now you are saying, oh, I like the old vice president pick, who you put on the ticket is going to be older than the nominee. Your argument center means the cool phenomenal that they say come into surface. So I think she needs to get fresh blood.
Let me say this with Biden. I was never against him because of his age. That was not it. I have always argued that I don't think he was in a position to really execute this race against Trump. Really, he's just, and yes, age might have something to do with it, but we all age differently. So the issue is not the age, but Tim Walz, if you really, like I said, I like him, but I still believe though, somebody like Shapiro might be a better pick. I saw him in action. He's young, he's articulate. He'll definitely take the fight to Trump. Now, of course, there are people, pundits are talking about, his Jewish heritage and how that would affect Michigan. It's neither here nor there. His position when it comes to the war in Gaza, that kind of a thing. But ultimately, I am hoping that most likely it will be Joe Shapiro in It looks like a lot of people that are in the know, they think that he would be a better pick. And the fact that he's a governor of Pennsylvania, extremely popular, that's just an added thing, really. I mean,
this guy is supposed to couple say, oh, there's a problem. The guy sits here and say, oh, he cannot win. The majority of Americans say he's too old. He can't.
Who?
But that's not beside that's besides the point, man. Let's move on, man.
Me?
No, couple says, oh, Musa was talking about the age. And
no. What I'm saying is, with Biden, it was never really. Yes, the age. It was yes, the age. There are a lot of voters.
I'm listening, man. Let me get my coffee. Go ahead.
No, I mean everybody who's been listening to.
I think you are waffling. You started waffling very early today.
I thought that Biden is an honorable man, and I was behind him. Even if he didn't drop out, I still would have voted for him. But again, like I always said, I didn't think that I thought that he was going to lose, really, because the general perception is he's too old. And looking at the debate, and it just reinforced that most Americans believe that he didn't have what it takes. And it's unfair politics sometimes. And that's what I'm talking about. But anyone who listens to Tim Walz, this governor of Minnesota, whatever age that Sariang is trying to put him on, I think the guy he's funny, he's smart, and he's well liked. But it is what it is, I mean, ultimately,
all I'm just saying is it undercuts that. It undercuts that
argument. You're the one.
No. All I'm just saying is it undercuts that message of Biden is old. Maybe per se Musa is not saying that, but majority
how old do you think this Tim Walz is? I mean, he doesn't.
I don't know. I know he's old. I don't know. He's old. I watch him, and even if you look at him, I don't know his age. Maybe I can Google it right now and tell you exactly. But I think he's probably older than Kamala.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about that. Yeah. But Prado, I mean, I don't know whether you've listened to him on the on the campaign.
No. I listened to him. He likes to take us. So he came with this weird, theme, and
it's like I said, all I said was I really liked him, but either one of those people.
And him and I has a lot of similarity. He served and retired. He did deployment. You know that, right? About him, Tim Walz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm a veteran, and he's and again, I mean, a governor of Minnesota, he has done some great things, liked by the state of Minnesota. I don't think, and like they always said, when you pick a running mate, just make sure that they don't bring any harm to the ticket. And I don't think he does. I mean, the man actually.
Yeah, I think the Jewish thing, though, they are kind of unfair to Shapiro. Shapiro is on the record, criticizing Netanyahu, saying that he's the worst president.
Yes.
He's on the record, and he said, what he's doing. So I think people are getting up. But when decisions like this, Musa, you have to have courage.
How old is he?
Who?
Tim, Walz.
I'm looking on it,
Somebody is saying that he's 60 years old. Sometimes
60?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he just look it maybe, but if you really listen to him, he comes across. I mean, I don't think he has any kind of cognitive decline or anything like that.
Yeah, but I really that's not the point though. But what you wanna pick someone who's actually gonna get those. Minnesota, of course, Kamala is going to win that. But besides Minnesota, there's other areas that's going to play heavily into this election, like the Pennsylvania, the Wisconsins, Michigan, and all that. So, I mean, people in the middle, how do you appeal that, and bring them on, to the ticket?
Look,
I think
I'm with you. I mean, I love Shapiro. I mean, I saw him in action. I think he's a very successful governor. He's very smart. And most Democrats are saying now, the problem that he has, he's seen as very moderate. So the the left wing of the party, they're not really crazy about his candidacy. You know, I mean, he will never be able to.
But the two contenders, do you know that the two contenders both have problems? The guy in Arizona, the unions are saying no, he's not very nice.
Yeah, no, he does.
So I think the bottom line is everyone has an issue, regardless of what you say. It comes down to courage and shouldering on. This is all it is. You get your message and saying, hey, you know what? He comes out and say, hey, I've said these. Even Schumer is a Jew, but he's the one, majority leader. He took the fight to Netanyahu. So I mean, those things don't bother me that much. I think when you come out to, like when we had this discussion at the masjid, the choice is just because you're not happy with someone's stand with Israel, against Palestine. I get that, but will that worth you to vote against that person that's gonna bring someone worst for you and your kids? I mean, that's where the fine line is, right? So we know superiors, when they get in, their policies are not going to be extreme. But we've already know the 2021 project that what they're going to do. So we get that. So, so those are the choices, man. So you want to make that choice?
Either any one of them, I think, would just do fine. Personally, I think it looks like everybody is talking about Shapiro, and I think Shapiro, and also how critical Pennsylvania is for the Democrats. Adding Shapiro to it, I think, is a safe bet. And hopefully, when we
he's very articulate, and he's very young, energetic. So you need that. I mean, you need that person with the guy in the ring, the old cat lady guy from Ohio, to get in the debate.
Yeah.
and you watch that interview with the black journalist too, right? With him getting all trapped up, and he's not gonna change, man. You can brand him anyhow you want. You can brown him, paint him with a rosy paint. It's not gonna be. It's embedded into his heart, so he's not gonna change. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not. I really don't. I mean, the first thing is that he's pissed off because, first of all, the person that asked him the question has a dark skin. She is very articulate and was on for business and whining and saying, "Oh, you didn't even say hello to me." Even if you say hello to him, how is your dad? How is your mama? How's all your kids? How is the shooting? Have you recovered? Blah, blah, blah. It's not going to change a damn thing. He's just going to be this person who is, that's what he is. I mean, people saw it.
You would have thought, though, because there was this talk that Trump is doing well with minority voters, especially blacks, and he was actually going out there trying to get them. So when I heard about him going to that journalist of black people, so I'm like, okay, maybe this is all part of reaching out for him to go there. And so you would have thought that the whole strategy would revolve around that. Difficult as the questions were, I think he could have just handled it a little bit differently. But like you said, the man hasn't changed. He got irritated because of the question that was asked. He really did. And that he just lost it. And never recovered.
And he was really, really pissed off. You see, one time he picked a bottle of water. I thought he was going to drink it, and he just set it down, all that stuff. He was just mad that the lady, in fact, asked him that question. And he's the one who said it. And it all goes haywire. And say, oh, he was being an Indian. That's pretty stupid. I mean, the color of his skin, her skin is black. So she's always been black. I don't know why this Indian heritage stuff comes in. But, it's him. He has to throw this dog whistle out there and bark. And I think the backlash has been enormous. It's been very, very negative.
Very unfortunate.
Very, very.
And he didn't even stop there. He went to Twitter and put up the lady's picture wearing an Indian. I'm like, okay, What is that
Okay.
supposed to mean?
Well, he's doing everything and see what you know what his strategy was, right? He's trying to. In fact, yesterday when he was in your city, he was saying he's worst, he's horrible, he's going to destroy our country. Like she is un-American. She doesn't have the same rights like him, right? So I think the central conversation comes in. Even they talk about this DEI high and all that nonsense. I mean, I think Kamala needs to challenge Mr. Trump and say, hey, which college or universities did you graduate? Let's put all our qualifications out there and for the voters to decide. He's never talked about his qualification. He's never talked about his education. Nobody knows what he learned. I mean, all that stuff.
They say he went to Wharton School of Business. That doesn't look like. That's
well, did you see his certificate, his degree, and all that? You know, I mean, people keep talking about qualification, DEI higher. What's
and you know
what is wrong with that?
Asked the lady, what does DEI mean? I don't even think he knew what DEI.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't know what DEI stands for.
I don't think he knew.
No, they don't. Majority of them doesn't know. Trust me, they don't.
You know. It's
yeah, they don't know. They don't, and they ask him the black job. What is a black job? All right. I mean, you are the target audience that you're supposed to appeal to them.
Yes.
And again, you double down on the dog whistle. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just crazy. You know, that's why everyone needs to get out there and register and vote. That's all it is. That's all it is, man. And now, you know, he was whining. He was crying about the stadium yesterday too, right? Did you hear that?
what
you know, no, you know, the rally where he had it. I think that's where Kamala had his own too.
Kamala had the rally too. Yeah.
So you see where the bleachers are on the center. His is all empty because people didn't show up, and he said it was school authorities because they left people.
And you heard what he said too. He went after the governor. This is a popular Republican governor, Kemp, and the wife. He just went after the guy.
Yeah, because Kemp doesn't want to bow off on his nonsense. That's all it is. You're not out there. Then he goes after you. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Politics. I mean, this is a popular governor who's been re-elected.
No, he's not going to do that. No, because he refused to show up at his rally and supposed to be like Margaret Taylor Greene is out there, you know, doing her thing. Then Kemp didn't. So that pissed him off that Kemp did not show up, and he's upset. You know, he's upset. Yeah, he's upset. That's it.
Unbelievable. But
yeah,
again, now we have a race in our hands. It looks like Kamala can pull it off. I hope.
Well, 310 million in a month is not a joke, man. Out of that, 62% of those are new contributors. So that's massive. You know, that's cut into half of what he got. So, you know, put your money.
This whole Indian thing. He's thinking that is one way of telling black people, you know, they're not so black out there. Hey man, I ain't black. She ain't black. You know, he is trying to kind of.
But you know, even us and them, right?
Yeah.
We had. I used to back in the days, even when I was, you know, my early part in the Navy when I was young. We always had this organization because, like, we are on a ship in Japan, Yokosuka. It's called. It's a frigate, about 200 and something. But we always had this conversation, right? Mm-hmm. You know, especially folks who are from here. I mean, I'm talking about people who can trace their ancestors back to African stuff. But this has always been a debate that you are not black. You know, what is the definition of that, right? So I'm more black than you because I came from Africa and I came to the United States and I settle in, and I went through all these little things and get to where I'm at. But this conversation always go in, and you will hear this from. I watch TikTok too. They were like, "Oh, he's trying to me." When she said, "Devo said you're not walking like you are talking," and they were saying, "Oh, he's just trying to me." So, but it is what it is. I mean, we all our own folks drive these type of conversations. I remember all of us, like there was a person who came from Haiti and a bunch of them, so they said Black History Month. And one day, why I remember this guy, he's from Haiti, and he took the mic when we had this at the back. He said, "What does Black History Month really means?" Yeah, we wanted to know, because yes, all our skin colors, but what does Black History Month?
What does it actually mean?
Is it just exclusively for those born in America, or it is? Yeah. So this is a conversation that's ongoing. That's really, and I think last month, and now within our organization, the president, African American, association called me and say, "Hey, during Black History Month, we want you to be part of the guest panel and all that." So, and he says, "We're trying to get another guy who is from Nigeria." And then I reach out to the guy we start. He says, "Hey, this guy," and this conversation comes into play. And he says, "Black History Month, brother. Are we being celebrated too, folks from Africa who are Black, right?" And he says, I told him that I was gonna talk around and have a conversation. I said, "But brother, I don't see any problem with that." I said, "What we got to do is when we come out there, you have to talk about the struggles, where you came from." And the guy who called me, he's from Alabama, and he didn't even know that Alex Haley and all that. He doesn't know the story behind. I said, "I'm from that country, Yeah, and he says, "I watched the movie, but I never knew." I said, yes, yeah. You heard Jufre? He says, "Yeah." I said, Jufre is part of Gambia, where I came from. So it's a good dynamic, but you hear this from them, man. I think Kamala is more Black than them because dad came from Jamaica, mama came from India. They hustled, they through the channels and be where they are today. They have a daughter who was an attorney general, senator, vice president, now vying for presidency. I think it's a powerful story, man. Very, very powerful.
Trump is just being Trump. Somehow he believes in his head Kamala being the Black candidate works against him. And he's trying everything to kind of stir the pot and say, "Hey, this lady is not all Black." I mean, she went to a Black school.
But who is he? Who is he to be? Who is he? Who is he to decide that?
When you're racist, that's why you see Kamala, the way she even responded when she was in Atlanta. She didn't really talk it. She said, "It's the same old show. The guy is just being
same disrespect."
Really, years ago, there is no American politician will come out and say some of these things and still get away with it. It wasn't possible. Not a single Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. George W. Bush, the Bush Senior, you name it. Not a single Republican candidate will say some of these things coming out of his mouth. I'm telling you, It is unbelievable. The dynamics of American politics have really changed.
And I watch one of the Republican strategists on MSNBC. He was appealing to Republicans who don't like Trump, and he says, "If you are out there, you don't like this guy, you don't like how the party, the direction this party is going, I'm telling you, support Kamala. If he wins him, he's going to be out of the Republican Party. Republican Party will back." Yes, that's what they said.
From Georgia, the lieutenant governor, the one that
Duncan.
Duncan, exactly.
Yeah.
He's basically saying the same thing. He's like, "Look, we have to get our party back. And the only way we can do it is to get this guy out of the way. If he loses come November, I mean, Trump and his MAGA group, they're gone. They will be able to hit the reset button and take their party back, stay in a different direction." But who the hell knows? Anyway, so yeah, that's all for U.S. politics. I know. So what is happening in the motherland? Hey, man, the yellow boys, they're doing their number. I'm telling you, they have pretty much painted yellow in Spain. You name it, Barcelona, all those places.
Yeah, today is
Yellow
by Barcelona, man. Barcelona, Barcelona, yellow.
Yellow. I mean, but you got to give it to them though. The one single party that can really go out there out of the country and do these conventions and show their power. And I heard that they're having something in the US as well. So they're doing their number.
Yep.
I mean, I wish we could get somebody from in Barcelona to tell us how things. I mean, I went on Facebook. Were you able to talk to some of our cousins? I mean, how are things
No,
going?
I didn't. I did not talk to anyone today. I think they are
I
somehow.
see Rohi Malik Low is there. Yanks Dabo is there. And then of course Alaji Usainu is Kumbaya. It looks like they're all in it together, And I don't know. It looks like everything is smooth, nice, and dandy. One old family. No disagreements.
You got it. One family, man. One fight.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be. We have to somehow, create a national construct, where we wanted to go as people collectively, right? Regardless, everyone needs to have their little conventions and all that, but where do we go from here? I guess that's what it is, considering all the challenges that country has. I was reading the piece Amadou Gajiko wrote on Republic, and he was breaking down pretty much the exports and imports, and you wonder why our debt skyrocket, because he was saying, since 2017, when Barrow came into office, it was 300 million. Now the deficit was 700 million. So, and also exports stands at 130 million, while imports is at 800, whopping 800 million. So I'm telling you, man, that is like what, 1:3 or 1:4 ratio. So it's really, 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 really bad. I mean, really bad. And I don't know how, we can turn around this. I mean, we have a natural phenomenon. There is rain, and we have Jali Pachar, where we should be investing, but we're not. We're not concentrating on those, but we're depending on imports and import. If you look at the main place where we get rice, for instance, what is this country, man? Which are the main rice importers? If you look at their country, and so I think the conversation needs to evolve around that, and see how we can take on this incompetent and corrupt government, and who don't want to do nothing but just to kind of go there and get into a personal attacks and all sort of stuff. And I think it's crazy. It's really, really crazy looking at the numbers.
Yeah, maybe we need to bring Gajigo. We've talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, he's a very, very smart guy.
To really delve into. I saw him on with Fatu. This was a while back, and really, we need somebody like him to talk about some of these issues. There's absolutely no doubt. I mean, when you talk about the value of the dollar, the depreciation or the slippage, if you want to call it that. Actually, I left a message for Boa Sedi. I was trying to get him to come to the program, Central Bank, to maybe kind of talk about what is happening to the dollar vis-a-vis to the euro and the pound, just to kind of get the conversation. Left him a message. I haven't heard back from him. But like you just indicated, I mean, when it's all you do is import, clearly then you're talking about the demand and supply as far as foreign currency is concerned. And in a situation like that, clearly, I mean, the value of your currency is going to go down. because we need a lot of foreign exchange, euro or dollars, to do all these exports. And we've been in this in this pit for a long time. How do we come out of it? In the absence, if it's the same old economic policies, then we are nowhere. So that has to change. And it's going to take a transformational leader, somebody who can bring the country together, like you said, and get away from these personal attacks and these kind of things that we spend week after week after week dealing with the same situation. That's not going to do it. So that reset button has to be reset too. That's what Gambia needs. 2026 is looming. What is it going to take for us to bring about change? Last week, we talked about that maybe we should start having that conversation, that honest conversation, and not just bury ourselves behind, this partisanship. I mean, it's because, like I always say, if we run the same race that we ran in 2021, I don't think change is going to happen. So it has to be something different. What that something is, I think that is the fundamental question. If it's the same old race, we would lose. Meaning, when I say we, I'm talking about people that would like to see change. I mean, change only happens if we run a totally different race. I really do believe that. And that starts with, because I was at the, when they had that coalition talks here in Atlanta, Brother Sariang. And what I kept reminding them that I believe that the only way change can happen in 2026, one thing first is we cannot run under the 1997 Constitution. I don't think that will be helpful. We need a new draft constitution. Hopefully we will get that before the elections in 2026. The other thing that has to change is the diaspora has to be enfranchised. In other words, we have to vote. Those two things are critical. The third thing that I believe is critical is go back and make reforms, no matter how minor those reforms are, with the Independent Electoral Commission, so that we have free and fair elections. So whatever change we would like to see happen, those three things would be the start, if you ask me.
No, well, I like your optimism. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But how about if that didn't happen?
Then it's going to be tough. It's going to be very difficult.
Okay, but why is it going to be tough? Why couldn't we tough out the toughness?
No. All I'm saying is, for us, first of all, when you talk about system change, these three things need to happen. We're Gambians, we have to participate in the process. Secondly, I do believe the 1997 Constitution is the Junta's Constitution, it's Yahya Jammeh's Constitution. That also has to go. Now, what you're asking me is, in the absence of that, can we still win? Yeah. Yes, we can win, but it cannot be the kind of race we ran in 2021.
Okay. Well, that's fine, but I think the being optimistic is great.
I think we would lose.
I think it's great that we want to get all that stuff out of the way, but you gotta. I'm a realist. I mean, the fact that the current political environment, I mean, it's not. I think it hasn't set a pretext for that. I'm just speaking because all the different things that we either unanimously you are for the current continuation of the status quo, or you want to reset back, and the composition of those lawmakers out there, I don't see. I might be wrong, but I don't.
You're saying that looking at the situation as it is, what is trending, even though we still have 3 years, that we will not be able to have diaspora enfranchisement. You're also saying that we will not be able to have a new constitution. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. You tend to me. Hold on a second. You asked me to class. You asked me to hold on. I want to make this very, because I think we have to get more important stuff. I don't want you to keep misinterpreting. What I'm trying to say is, Colin Powell used to say this. He says, force multiplier. Optimism is a force multiplier. I like your optimism, but I also know there are challenges. And there are headways that you need to overcome. So the fact that Yes, new constitution. We need to get a new constitution in place. Good. But have we created an environment for it? Have both, the executive, the legislature, and the folks, have they created that environment whereby we'll be successful? Right? So you can beat this all around and kind of wanted to change it. But what I'm trying to say is I will prepare. It hadn't been, we don't have that through what will be the fallback plan, right? So that's why my question is before you're saying, are you saying reaffirming? I'm not God. I'm not. No, hold on. I'm not. Hold on. Give me a chance to land, then you can speak. Then the fact is, I don't foresee. I'm not a false prophet. I'm not that. So, but what I'm trying to say is the reality on the ground at this current moment. If we do not have all these three things that we do, what is the fallback plan? I guess that's why my question.
My question is not being pessimistic or optimistic. All I'm saying is I'm telling you that for me, for 2026, to bring about change, first, like I said, I would like to see us to run under a totally new constitution. That's what I would like to see happen if we are going to bring about change. I also would like to see you and I to be able to work in a polling booth in Atlanta and in Vancouver to participate in our general elections. I don't think there's too much to ask for. And I believe that every Gambian would like to see that happen. And I think it's something that we need to fight for. You know what? I mean, it's our duty to fight for that these are things that we want to make sure that it happens. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you're telling me, well, you're being optimistic and what's the fallback? I don't know what the fallback is. All I know is this. What I want to see is a system change. And that system change starts with a new constitution. That system change starts with enfranchising every Gambian to participate in the process. A system change starts with basically reorganize independent electoral commissions. If those three things happen, I think we are on the verge of a new system change. And without a doubt, of course,
I get that, but what are the mechanics though, right? What are the mechanics and the formula to deliver that change? Whilst we're here outside, but what are some of the mechanics and formulas that we need to deploy to ensure that happen? And I think there is lack or unanimity on a national construct, how to drive that theme. I think that's where I'm getting at. So I like the optimism. I like all that. But what are some of the mechanics and the formulas to build some type of a national theme around that will gear up at least a support, grassroots support or majority towards that theme to ensure that is delivered? I think that's where my question is, and that's where my question is.
For something like that to happen, every political party that is out there, civil society organizations, every Gambian, at every point, the media, we should be drumming up and basically saying these are things that we want to see happen. We want to have a new constitution. We demand a new constitution more than anything else. Yes, there have been a lot of talk that we heard it from the president. We heard it from there are meetings being held. But ultimately, we want to make sure we don't want to go into 2026 under the same old.
But how you hear it from the president?
Yes.
But what is the president doing in his capacity?
Dude,
in terms of even leadership? I'm asking you this, your brother. We heard it from the president, but what is he doing in his capacity as the head of the state, head of the Gambia, to push that, whereby he would we build some type of consensus in terms of national unity, bringing folks together to drive, because they obviously, I know, there are sticking points inside the new constitution. That's why it failed. So how do you bring folks together and have a buy-in and negotiate? I think that's what it is. I mean, the president who goes on bombastic, creating division, I don't think he's a good conduit to be able to be even a good seller to the population for folks to buy in. You're speaking of, yes, I'm very optimistic to see this, but what is the reality? What are some of the constraints that we need to overcome?
I want to respond to my good friend Dibachako. He said, Musa, can you tell us? Because I said something like, if we run the same kind of race we ran in 2021, we would lose. And he said, Musa, can you tell us the kind of race we ran? It's very simple, Dibachako. And he's one of our, Dibachako is always on this program every Sunday. And thank you, my brother, for waking up every Sunday and tuning into For the People, by the People. It's simple. You see, Dibachako, if we run the same kind of race, and that is reduce the race between the UDP and the NPP, and we have all this multitude of parties, everybody throwing their hat in the ring, and ultimately they ended up endorsing the president, this is an election that we are going to lose. That is the kind of race we ran in 2021, and that's why we lost. No doubt about that. It has to be a totally different kind of race if we are going to win. That's my opinion. I could be wrong as hell. But I believe that was the kind of race that we ran. We made it a binary choice. It was UDP, NPP, forcing Gambians to pick here and there. I don't think that will give us change that we need.
Nobody forced Gambians to pick here and there.
I'm just saying that is the kind of race we had.
But what I'm trying to answer to your call is no one. Gambians has the choice.
Yeah,
and they made a choice to re-elect President Barrow. Let's make that very, very clear on this platform. They had choices, and the choices couldn't be clear.
Like I said,
and they went. They said, "We're gonna stick with this." No. I'm gonna phone you later, Rick. They had a choice, regardless what your opinion is. But they had stark contrast, and the contrast could not be clear. But they went with the status quo. Now they're going with the status quo. What does that do? It creates a massive debt, 110 billion.
Dude, all I'm saying is, if they are giving the same, hold on, this guy asked a question. If they are giving the same kind of choices that we had in 2021, we would lose.
Well, I disagree. No, I hear what, but what you said was there was a binary choice. People were forced. No one was forced. That's why we had a multi-party system. You just said that we had a lot of parties.
We all know.
And
we all know the kind of race we had in 2021. That is a race that we do not want to repeat. If we do it, the results are not going to change.
But I think if you say we repeated, what is the kind of race are you referring to?
That's the question he asked, and I answered it. You just don't like my answers.
No. I like your answer. I want to dial in more to get your take, because you said stuff like, "Oh, the people have been forced." No one was forced. No. People had the choice. They had a choice.
I said.
Where? No, hold on. Let me say this. Okay. I'll let you go. Go ahead. Let me get my cup of coffee, because I think we're in for a long haul today.
Dibachako, this is what I'm saying. You know the kind of race we ran in 2021. And the race came down to a binary choice. And I think, and then we have all these little bitty parties, everybody throwing their hat in the ring. Ultimately, they ended up, because of, obviously, under the 1997 Constitution, it's a winner take all. It's a simple majority. Most of these opportunistic parties decided to endorse the president. And all I'm saying is, if we create that same kind of race, I think it will be difficult for change to happen. That is why I would like to see a new constitution whereby one has to win on the absolute majority. To me, that would help to bring about change. I would also like to see people in Spain voting, people in Atlanta voting, people in England voting. If that happens, I think that would also help to bring about change. You see, and that's all I'm saying. And then you ask the total different. Okay, we need to. So you say the second part of your question is, what kind of a race do we need to run in 2026? That's a good question. It cannot be the race we ran in 2021. In other words, like I said, We would have to run it under a new constitution. As part of my answer, we would also want to make sure that we have reforms within the Independent Electoral Commission. The third leg of the table is we have to make sure that Gambians Gambians in the diaspora also participate in the process. If we do that, if we have all those ingredients, Dibachako, I think we will be able to bring about change. Really.
So here's the follow-up question about this whole thing. So I guess if I hear you correctly, all of a sudden, the 1997 Constitution is not a winnable formula. But we defeated Jammeh. We defeated Jammeh on the same constitution. Right?
Good. You are a very smart man.
Right? We defeated Jammeh on the same constitution.
Yes.
And I am saying, with everything going on right now, where how our political environment is constructed, all these things are great. What you're saying, I agree. We need to have them. But what is the possibility of having them? Now, what we got is the 1997 Constitution.
Right.
How do we effectively make the best out of it while creating a national construct around that?
I like it when you use buzzwords, national construct.
Right? Yeah. No. I'm letting you know. I'm gonna talk about why I say these things, because I am not naive that all these things are gonna be done before 2026. There is nothing that convinced me otherwise that we have the cooperation, the political will of the current government.
Can you help me, my brother? I know you've been throwing this word around a lot, this buzzword, a national construct. Let's pull it out. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by we have to create a national construct going into 2026? What does that mean? What does that mean that we have to do this? Because I'm thinking, first of all, because you're saying having a new constitution, having the diaspora to vote, reform of the IEC, it is very difficult. It's a heavy lift. So you're saying
yes.
You're saying that is very difficult. That is heavy. That is why
I said it's a heavy lift.
Hold on, my friend.
I said no. I said I want to clarify. You said it's a heavy lift. Yes. Yes.
Because you've been saying that these three things that I kept harping on. I'm being too optimistic. Okay. In other words, so you're saying that we need to look at, okay, how about if it doesn't happen? What's the fallback? Your fallback, yes. If I read you right, your fallback is, yes, if all these things do not happen, we will still be able to create a national construct. Can you help me with that? What does that mean?
But I asked you a question first. Did you answer the question that I
What question did you ask? What question did you ask me that I didn't answer? Even my brother Dibachako, he said that I answered the question. He said, thank you.
Well, here's the national construct that I'm talking about.
Okay.
All right.
That's what I want to hear.
All right. So the national construct is irrespective of political parties. And I want you to kind of let me, not interjecting and try to paraphrase what I said. Let me land, and you will have perfect, hold on, you will have perfect opportunity. And I think the viewers also will have perfect opportunity to ask questions. The national construct, for example, we are all Gambians. We all know what is happening in our country. We know. The economic dire straits, the high price of commodities. But how do we form a theme around that to salvage, to put a Gambia in a better position by putting the national patriotism and loving of our country first on the first banner, right? So it doesn't matter what party you bring. How do we come together? How do we build this whereby irrespective of, this party, I don't like this party because majority is Mandinka, or majority is Wolof, or these people are this, these people are this. We need to see the economic challenges and the challenges that face our country first and foremost. How do we build around that team and come together? I'm not talking about, don't tell me, oh, 2016. No, but I think this is still durable, whereby we all understand what is at stake here. I know what is at stake. What is at stake is our country, people are losing hope. They are. I mean, we don't have better health care. Yes, they build roads, but the day-to-day life of Gambians are miserable. We have high crime rates. How do we salvage that from that part? How do we build unity? How to build that? It's not going to be one person. It's not going to be one party. But how do we coalesce around that and create a formula that we got to take this man out? How do we create that?
But that's what I'm asking you that question because you said we have to form a national. I just want you to look. You see, starting with we have to form a national construct because of prices are high. We're going to form a national construct because of massive unemployment.
Because of the environment is unsustainable.
That is, I'm telling you, that is not a strategy. I'm listening to you and I'm like, you're talking about.
That is not a strategy.
You think having a new constitution, it's a heavy lifting with what you are saying? Forming a national construct. Look, give me something that I can lay my hands on. Please do. And not just reduce it to the debt situation that we are in. If you think, Sarian.
I'm lost. What you're just rambling. I need you to bring me back into the conversation because I'm kind of lost. Because you started off from strategy.
You never answered my question about this national construct. You get into bashing what Barrow did or did not do.
No, I'm not bashing. I am trying to create. I'm articulating a team.
I allow you to talk. I allow you to talk. You gotta allow me to talk.
Okay.
You said in 2016 we were able to come together.
Okay. All right.
And to defeat Jammeh. And if we were able to do it in 2016, if I hear you right, we will be able to do it in 2026. Am I hearing you right?
Go ahead.
I'm asking you.
You don't have to reaffirm anything. Just keep going. I'm listening.
No, but so that I don't have to assume anything.
No. Just keep going. Keep going. I'm listening. I will clarify if I need to clarify.
No, I don't want to assume anything. So what I'm saying,
keep going. Keep going. I'll have opportunity to respond.
I think we are at a different place, politically speaking, and what we had in 2016. Seriously, it was a totally different. We were under a dictatorship. We were guys that were killing people. Gambians wanted fundamental changes. Our hands were tied. The political terrain at that time, there was no other choice. In the absence of coming together, there was a total agreement, totality of different parties that yes, we have to come together. That playbook actually worked. There were, of course, other things, Mama Kande doing his thing. Now, I do not foresee, and that is why the guys, the Kebafuns and the Sol Bagis, talking about, replaying that playbook of having so that all the political parties would come together. Remember at that time, Gambian parties, they were even afraid to form parties. There were few parties really that you were dealing with because we were under a dictatorship. You either had the UDP, the NRP, PPP, and then you have DOI. So you really didn't really have to, it was very easy to bring these people together. And we started going all the way back to 2003 during the NAB days. So it was there. Now we are at a totally different place. I do not foresee that playbook working. If I'm just honest with you, I do not see all these political parties coming together and running under one candidate or under one party. I don't see it. Maybe that makes me pessimistic, but I don't see it. If that's what your national construct is, you better revisit that because that is going to be very difficult, almost impossible. So you got to give me something else. If you think that these parties are going to come together based on the debt issue that the country is going on, that these parties are going to come together based on prices are high, these parties are going to come together because of corruption that is happening in the current government, which is true, you gotta get something else coming. Give me something else, my brother, because that national construct is not going to bring about the change that you're talking about. you are better off with what I am preaching, and that is give us a brand new constitution that will give us a 50+1. Then we can have a second round of voting. We would be in a position to have a coalition of parties against an incumbent. Give me diaspora voting. There are thousands and thousands of votes that is, in the diaspora that could make the difference. And then you reform the IEC. That's how you bring about change. To me, that is the national construct that you should be putting our emphasis on. All parties will agree to these three things that I said. Not a single party would have a problem with that, including independent.
You sound dictatorial because you keep saying I need to buy on what you are saying. I agree with that. But what I'm trying to say is there an environment conducive to achieve those goals? That's where I think is far-fetched. And you're saying we need to engage, but you didn't explain. And that was the question I was asking you. I said, how do you see us in the outside, say diaspora? Because I think you can never know his point.
Yeah,
He seems to be
okay,
so I think
to know that I'm fair. Whatever they say.
No. I think Musa. None of us, and including viewers who are watching this platform today, we wholeheartedly agree that we need to achieve those. But I think I put that in the long-term basket because of what the current political environment. And I ask you, I said, how the mechanics and the formulas that we need to deploy in order to achieve those. I haven't got any answer from you yet, but I'll give you opportunity for you to answer that again. But what I'm trying to say is, no, Jimmy, let me land. After you can respond. What I'm trying to say is, I think what you're trying to say is you are making these sort of a correlation. Oh, no, I think it's more than that. What I'm trying to say, in every theme or agenda you wanted to sell, you have to create some type of, buying on it. The buying that I'm trying to say that is there, irrespective of which political party you belong to. The high prices of commodities, the depleting healthcare conditions, corruption, and lack of efficiency of the government impacts everyone. So that is not digging and all that, but you have to start somewhere. No, hold on a second. But hold on a second. Well, you can't say that because your team or your strategy that you're putting in is not monolithic. No, it's not. I understand when Saul and Kebafun, you were like, oh, no, you guys, when you got Baromas go, you said, no, these are the three agendas we need. No, you cannot. Yeah, it's not set in stone. But I'm going to give you opportunity to respond to those things. What I'm trying to say is, when we build this national construct, irrespective of I'm the biggest party, I'm the smallest party, how do we unify build a strong team whereby we'll have a buy-in and build that buy-in, construct that, and take it to the people? But again, we have silos. Everyone is moving into different directions. And at your point, hold on a second. You said it here. And I think you are walking back on your comment. You said we cannot play the same playbook that we did we cannot have all these parties, vying. So, but how do you, dismantle that, or sort of, bring those parties whereby we form a common thing in consolidating our efforts that we already built on to take on the status quo? I think that's where my question is, respective of, correlation. But how do we?
I'm confused.
How do we come together?
I'm totally confused. I am totally confused, to be honest with you. I don't even know what you're asking me now. Don't read. When you read, you then mislead. Read.
No, I'm not reading. I'm listening to you. I'm reading. I'm not even reading. I'm listening to what you're saying because you're like wobbling, and I don't understand what you're saying. I'm listening to you.
What question?
I'm not reading nothing. I'm not even reading. What are they reading? What are they reading? What am I reading?
You were reading the comments on me. I know you.
No, I'm not reading. I'm not reading anything. What am I reading? What comment is that?
Saul Badges, your boy.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not reading Saul's comment. Seriously, I didn't even read that.
What question are
you
you
are
asking
getting
me?
distracted.
No, one question, you said everybody.
No. I said you said. Hold on. Let me repeat my question.
Yes.
My question was to you. You highlighted three important aspects of things that you think is very immediate.
Yes.
And you are very, very optimistic that those, if they are implemented, I think it will yield different results. What I'm asking you is, knowing the political environment, and how do you think? Because you talk about diaspora, and I said, okay, but what are the mechanics or formulas you think we would be able to sway? Because obviously, all the stuff that you're talking about involves some type of political will, and it also involves some type of aspect of funding. And where is that funding coming from? It comes from the government, right? So how do you see this whole thing without participation, juxtaposed with the political will from the government and the institution impacted a lot? Say, diaspora voting, which is the one that is the key stakeholder in this is IEC. How do you really think we formulate a theme or some type of a formula to drive that agenda?
Okay. You see, what we have in the Gambia is we have different political parties. They all believe that their agenda or their policy programs, it's basically the silver bullet to bring about fundamental changes. Whether it's DOI, whether it's UDP, whether it's PPP, whether it's SFL, whether it's potential independent candidates that are out there, they all think that whatever they have, they are it. They're the ones that is going to bring about change. If there is one thing that they have in common, I do believe, and all of them will subscribe to, is these three things that I highlighted. That it is very easy to bring them all together to support this, including the civil society organizations, including independent groups. These are three things that can at least bring us together. Whatever differences that we have, we may think that the UDP would think that the UDP is the way to go. We're the bigger party. We think Usainu can take us to the promised land. DOI can think that, we have the policy and programs. We are the ones that can bring about fundamental changes. They can have all of that. But if there's one thing that they have in common is these three things need to happen. All we need to do is lean on them, bring them together, and say, these are the three things that even in the National Assembly, another important arm of government, you can call any National Assembly member and bring them on this platform. If you ask them about these three things, they will tell you they will support it. So all I'm saying is, these are three fundamental things that we share as a people and as an electorate. If we have it, I think we are on our way for system change. Now, whether Barrow has the political will or not, Barrow does not. That is something that maybe he doesn't. Let's even agree that he doesn't. But this is the same man who said, we can, we will go to a referendum before the end of 2024. He said it. So he's basically telling us that he would like to see, as part of his legacy, a brand new constitution. Let the political parties come together and let's make that happen. Let's make sure that Musa Jeng will be able to vote from Atlanta. If we have that, we are on our way. But what you are saying is, we have this national construct. I like that. It sounds it's like a buzzword. This national construct that somehow you think, if we are able to do it, then we will bring about change in 2026. Just because we are talking about the debt is too high, just because we are talking about prices are too high, and just somehow that would bring about change. I don't think so. It's going to take a lot more than that. Seriously, it's going to take much more than that. Just policy differences and grievances. You think? Come on now, Sariang.
So if I understand you, And I want to impose. These are conversations I'm very comfortable to have. But I think I think what you are doing, and I think maybe you go back and listen to your own recording today. First of all, you started off naming political parties and political leaders, and you're talking about coming together. I don't know how you formulate what are the mechanics and how do you call it coming together. They're coming together. If we have National Assembly members come on this platform,
no.
Oh, they all like this. How come it's not done? How come the Constitution is not passed up to date? We have the 1990. If that is true, and if that is the reality, how come it's not done? How come? How come it's not done? It should have been a foregone conclusion.
Absolutely.
Rubber step, we're good to go. But how come it's not done, Musa?
Because there is no political will, and then that's why we need to make sure it happens. We demand it as citizens.
So meaning that what you're saying, we gotta go back to ground zero and start it all over again. Because if this is a foregone conclusion, as you are saying, it could have been done since the first time they took it down to the National Assembly.
But it hasn't happened. But that doesn't mean that we cannot demand.
So why it didn't happen though?
So you're saying, to hell with it, we're just gonna go to the election.
No. I'm not saying to hell with it. I'm not saying that. I am a realist. What I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to bamboozle people in believing things that are not real.
Oh,
I am not.
Oh, you think having a new constitution, it's not.
No. I think you are repeating. You are just keep saying.
No,
I am not against that at all. But what I'm trying to say is the headwinds are very strong, and we are not. We are not able to make strides through those headwinds. So that's what I'm trying to say.
So you think we should just settle for this national construct?
I am not saying we should settle, but what I'm trying to say is what you are saying before 2026. There is strong headwinds. What is the fallback plan, Musa? That's what I'm trying to say. And I think all the viewers understand what I'm trying to. What I'm trying to say is
it's fair enough, because man, I told you what I think needs to happen in 2026.
And I agree wholeheartedly.
Hold on. I mean, so I wanna give it to you. You said the fallback plan. I want you to help me with the fallback plan. Please do, and don't tell me national construct.
What I told you, the fallback plan is creating a national construct. And what I'm troubled by, hold on a second, but give me a chance to respond.
My brother, jump into the pool. What does
okay, so here is why I'm troubled. Why am I troubled by what you're saying, oh, you think, the national debt, corruption, the economy there construct a thing, that's going to be Musa. But in every election cycle, and you're a strategist, call your chief strategist, and I'm putting you on a hard seat here. What are some of the things that you think people are leaning or voting for in an election cycle? What do you think? What do you think those changes? What motivate voters to respond to those? And what are things that we highlighted, right? So things of this, you think people, if you sell that you deserve better for 7 years, you deserve better. So somehow you really think that's not gonna drive if you tally and you have a common team around it? Not everyone being solo, come together and drive that team. And you are saying, I did not mention any part where I said former coalition party. No. What I'm trying to say is I think what is missing is folks singing the same song and coming together. And as a country, hold on, I'm saying that, no. Corruption, whatever. Corruption impacts people. Corruption impacts people. And every election cycle, it's about issues that motivate people to get up and get to that polling booth and vote because they don't want to maintain the status quo. So I'm kind of lost what you are saying and what you are inferring. And I want clarity from you.
Clarity you will get, my brother. You are so wrong if you think for the last election cycles, people walk into the polling booth basing on issues, basing on inflation, basing on national debt, basing on budget allocation, then believe me, you haven't been following Gambian elections very closely. We have never voted on issues. Gambians in general, they don't. And that's unfortunate. You are absolutely right. Our country is in a mess. The economy is in a mess. Corruption is way up there. It's endemic. I believe you. I'm with you on that. But my brother, you need a vehicle to bring about the change. You need a vehicle to carry that message. Not just this. I am not poo-pooing against what you are saying. I'm a realist. Seriously, I do. I am a
Sometimes
realist.
I doubt it.
Okay, I am a realist. I know what works and what don't work. Okay, so what I'm saying is, if you're telling me, nay, because somehow you have this idea that I am downplaying the importance of these issues. I am not. I am seriously not downplaying that.
Then say it as it is, Father Mose.
I'm saying it
say
as it is.
it as it is. You're not downplaying it.
Look,
say it as it is. Chief strategist,
okay.
please, you got the floor.
Let me
get at it.
Let me say this. I told you the three legs that I said we need to have a shot at bring about change. You think that is a little bit unrealistic. And you ask me, what is the fallback plan?
I think, here is the thing. I did not say it's unrealistic. I am saying the headwinds are strong, and also there is not a positive political environment that will help us achieve those in the immediate term. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Look, I think these three things are achievable. But then you kept going back to what is the fallback plan. In other words, and that's a fair question, Sarian. If the president doesn't have the political will, and then of course they are the government, and then we ended up going to the elections in 2026 under the 1997 Constitution, and then also we are in a situation that we will not be able to participate in the process. In other words, it will be just like in 2021. So you're saying, what is the fallback plan? The fallback plan, the options come down to this. We can all rally around behind one political party and support them and take the message to the Gambian people and support for change. You see, I have a problem seeing that happening. I would like to see it happen. But knowing what I know, I'm a political realist. I read the tea leaves as they are. Yes, if we have a coalition of all the parties, or at least the most important parties, if you have DOI and you have the UDP, and then you have PPP, or you have Gambia for All, and then you have Mama Kande, and then you have independent, because Esafal has already established himself a lane. If they are all able to come together and sing the same song and take it to the Gambian people, yes, we have a shot.
Okay.
You see what the problem I have?
So you are agreeing building a national construct on a unified message.
You see? Now conveniently, that's your national construct.
No. I am paraphrasing.
I am saying, hold on. I am saying, if that were to happen, then we have a shot. But if you think what I said is a heavy lifting, my brother, this one is a heavier lifting. I mean, a heavier lifting.
You know, Musa.
If we were able to do that and say, you know what, we want change. What we are saying, what we are seeing in the country, we want a reset button. We want to go back to the 2016, the very aspirations that we wanted to create. Because the politics of yesteryear is the same politics of small talk and insult, the same politics of, the same Yaya Jammeh players, the Sidin Jais. If we want to change that, yes, I understand. If all these parties can come together, kumbaya, and say, we want to do that, then we have a shot. But my friend, I wasn't born yesterday, and neither were you. Neither are you. I don't even think you believe it. Do you?
Believe what?
Yeah, why do you always
What
want to do that?
What I don't believe in is
Do you believe
to
what
somehow.
I just what I
Well,
just
what I
said?
don't hold on.
What I just said.
You asked me what I believe in. Let me
Yeah, but
ask
you
you.
said
Let me
believe
ask.
what? So mangi hawa jahle.
Hold on a second. I'm responding. So what I don't believe. One, I don't believe that the issues that face Gambia right now is a minuscule of what or how it can impact somehow a national theme that needs to be taken to the voters for them to buy on it. I don't believe in that. I really don't believe in it. What I don't also believe in, not in, I'm an optimist when it comes to changing the direction and the thinking of people. I saw a lot of comment. Oh, we vote on emotion, we vote on tribes. When they say this stuff, they don't define what that is and what generates that and what are the root causes of that stuff. Don't throw shades if you cannot take responsibility. I think what we have as Gambians, we do not take responsibility. We got to stand up and own stuff. If I am saying let's formulate a national theme, lessons drawn and lessons learned is from 2016. Why there is so much disintegration? What are some of the things that create that? I think those needs to be identified and clearly articulated, and all the stakeholders have to have a buy-in and say, hey, you know what? The way we conduct business this way, this is going to happen. And this way, saying that the Gambians don't vote on issues, I think we need to change that phenomenon. We need to start communicating better and changing the mindset of voters to vote for issues. Because if you explain these issues to voters in our local languages, do you want a better healthcare? Do you want, if you go to lab and do your lab work, the money doesn't come together, the $100 it doesn't come out of your pocket, you think the government needs to provide subsidy? They will say yes. But how do we tell that message? How it's going to benefit? That's what it is. But saying that, oh, they don't vote. Yes, they don't vote for. You keep backing on 2021 is past and gone. It's buried.
It's not.
Let's come with new ideas.
It's not. You'll be.
Let's come with new ideas.
If you're making,
but you keep piggybacking on 2020. We're not talking about 2020 because that was a losing strategy. I'm talking about a winning strategy, Father Moss.
Let me say this, my friend. When you said those issues are not minuscule, I absolutely agree. They're very important. You're talking about the life of people. I mean, that is why ideally people to walk into a polling booth and based on those issues. I agree with you totally. Man, you don't have any disagreement with me when it comes to that. What I'm saying is, it has never happened. That doesn't mean that it will not happen. You see, the problem is not the message, it's the vehicle. Vehicle create in Gambian politics is the vehicle first. Then you see what happened in 2020, in 2016. People were not against Yahya Jammeh and raising all these issues, and the economy is stealing. The messaging was always there. Going back to 2006 elections, 2011 elections, it was always there. We never had a viable vehicle that can carry that message to the Gambian people. Lolu moy one problem be. In 2020, 2006, we came very close.
What is the viable vehicle? But what is it? What is it?
You are no longer.
No, I'm asking you, what is the valuable vehicle? What is it? What is it?
You're a filibuster.
No, I'm not filibustering.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you can answer. I was answering questions while I'm going.
No, you are not. No. Look, in 2006, the point that I'm making is in reference to your point, Nan, these issues are not minuscule. They are not, they are not minuscule. They're very important. They are absolutely, actually, I wish every Gambian would walk into a polling booth and and vote based on those issues. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Okay? You asked me the vehicle. You asked me what's the fallback. And I told you exactly what I believe could be a viable fallback. My only problem is, I think it would be very difficult for that to happen. I wish it could happen. I wish lolu mo muna hew. That is why you have the Sol Badges of this world, like Nyom Kebafun. They're all working on this supposedly coalition of parties to use that as a vehicle. I mean, that's the whole thing. So what I just highlighted, Moine, I wish we could have all these parties, GDC, Gambia for All, DOI, United Democratic Party, PPP, Esam Baifal, they all come together, sit on the table and said, not only do we demand for these things to happen, meaning a new constitution, and then Gambian diasporas to vote, and also to reform the IEC, we are also going to come together and go into 2026 to bring about fundamental changes based on these very platforms that you are talking about. Ñom ñep ñu agree ne this is the platform to end corruption. Ñom ñep ñu agree to bring prices down. Ñom ñep ñu agree to do something with, exports and importation. What is creating this balance of payments? I'm with you on that. So lolu moy nek vehicle bi. But my friend, I wasn't born yesterday.
Okay. I'm glad you are highlighting issues that I talk about in the segue, and I think hold on. I think sometimes Musa. No, I'm not tiptoeing. Everybody, I'm very clear.
Getting the landmines and get your head blown off.
No, I am not. I'm not. But that's not the purpose, though. That's not the purpose of this conversation. That's the purpose of the conversation. Is honesty. We have to first identify the pitfall. And you know one thing you refuse to. I think everybody refused to highlight. There is a lot of suspicion when we say let's come together, right? Yes. Hold on a second. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Yes, I'm agreeing with you.
But what are some of those suspicions? And those suspicions need to be put out on the table and hash out.
So help me out.
I think, hold on, Musa, but let me land. If I want to ping this point very further for people to come, I have no skin in the game. I'm not. I am not. I'm going to speak as it is, right? But what are these conversations? People resort to, the emotions, tribe, blah, 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 blah. So we cannot continue to be saying that. The fact of the matter is there were issues, fundamental issues, when the government came together and what created this division. We have to highlight that and take responsibility and charter a different path. But if you think the same formula that you had before and you can implement that, that's not going to work. I get that. I'm not naive. I'm not naive at all. But what I'm trying to say is let's not tiptoe around that. That needs to be highlighted.
Tiptoe around what?
They needs to be highlighted and it needs to be brought and people need to take responsibility and lessons drawn out of it. But what I'm not trying to say, the issues, if you think corruption, blah, blah, blah. No, corruption is a fundamental issue. It is. And it needs to be highlighted. How the messaging goes to the voters, how someone in rural Gambia hears it, it's different. So the fact is, politicians are not doing that. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it is very, very important. I mean, I hear you saying, these politicians, they need to they are able to come together. I was counting that word from you. If they are able to come together. If they are able to come together. I got it 12 times. I counted 12 times. So what that formula is and what that means to Musaji, I don't know, right? So I really don't. And this is the thing about the folks like Albert Mendy and all that throwing shades about UDP and all that. I think this is a problem itself. You guys are not even doing a good service of naming and taking sides, because I tell you, everyone needs to take responsibility across the board.
Bro, but
and including you did. Hold on a second. But hold on. I have the right. The man has been writing a lot of stuff. I didn't respond. I was just trying to respond to him that including UDP needs to take responsibility. They need to full responsibility. So, but it is not. Everybody else needs to. But what we lessons drawn on that failure? Why we did not hold Barrow accountable? Why the coalition fall apart? These are lessons learned, and they are very, very critical. We have to acknowledge that. But if we're not acknowledging and we're pushing aside, we're making a fundamental mistake. And that mistake, if we want to effect change or talk to other folks to build some type of national construct, it's not going to work, because this is the team that undermines it. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what it is. I'm not trying, but what I'm trying to say, that's what my response is, right? So I'm not trying to take side, but I think everyone needs to take responsibility and own it and charter a different course. That's it.
So yeah, there's a lot of talk when you listen to pundits and every now and then you hear people talk about the PASTEF formula, and that is like maybe Gambia, we need to look at the PASTEF formula and see how we can use it as a strategy or as a vehicle. How do you really see that? And also, and I guess maybe we need to talk about what's the PASTEF formula that you think we might be able to use or emulate, borrow it from Senegal, and then maybe use it in 2026. Do you think that is something to look at?
The PASTEF formula is resorting to what you highlighted in your argument. That's just what it is. But let's also not forget that Gambia was PASTEF before PASTEF was PASTEF 2024, right? The fight that we did. There were, people, the fact is, Gambia is not like Senegal, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what we forget is from when Yahya Jammeh came into power, 1994, up to today, people took fight to Yahya Jammeh. Mm-hmm. He destroyed people's career. He held them to account. He fought them. But they didn't relent. They pushed back. There were people that you and I know who had better lives in this country. They were well established. They went back home because they felt there was injustice. I haven't heard such a thing from Senegal. The dissidents parking themselves and going back and want to overthrow a government, a sitting government. Mm-hmm. So this buy-up, then Senegal, we don't have, I think it's flawed. And I think it's dishonest. We have stood firm on our commitment against injustice. And we fought. Senegal didn't help us all the years that we are fighting leading up to the elections, where we got rid of Jammeh. When we got rid of Jammeh and Jammeh decided not to go,
that's when
there was economic intervention. That's when we had forces from Senegal augment the economic forces to come to Gambia. And I think we need to highlight these things. It's very, very important. Our politicians were courageous. Khalifa Saleh went to prison. The late OJ went too. I mean, they all fought. They all stood up. They didn't want to succumb. They were beaten. So I think that there were a lot of people that we lost. So this whole thing about, yes, Pastor, they were able to win, but we should not relent. And I think we should take this message forward. And I am talking about, Musa, irrespective of party affiliation. I'm talking as a person who gets on this platform. So that no matter 3 hours, 2 hours I got in the morning, I want to get up and come here and speak directly and share my thoughts with the folks. Mm-hmm. This is nothing has to do with taking sides. I think we all need to own up what the pitfalls are. And Barrow, the reason why Barrow is out there today and how we can curtail his presidency, especially past 2020. But pinpointing who needs to lead, I think we haven't got to that stage yet. The fact that there were issues, and that issues create a lot of mistrust between people. And how do you communicate and regain that trust back and talk to people to bring them to the same table and hash out those skirmishes? I think it's fundamentally, I think it's very, very important. And it's fundamental. And it's core to what we do come 2026, irrespective of all the things that you highlight. The things that you highlight, I agree. 100% diaspora needs to vote. But is the wheel turning? Is it turning in the right speed or in the right direction to effect those changes? I did not honestly see that happening. And somehow that gives me a cold feet that we are going to be in motion or in sync when that time comes and for us to, gain that.
The reason why I talked about, PASTEF, because clearly, most Gam, even if you read the comments, they'll always resort to that. If Senegal can do it, we can do it. And sometimes people have their own understanding or analysis of what happened in Senegal. Here you have a new phenomenon. These people were not part of the equation. Yes, PASTEF contested the elections, prior elections, and they pulled maybe 15% of the votes. But there was something that PASTEF, they were the outsiders, in other words, running against the status quo. And I don't think we have anything like that in the Gambia. PASTEF, outsider, running against the status quo. The status quo was not with Benna Bokk Yakaar, Nyom Wallu, that same ingrained face of politicians that PASTEF was able to convince and said, you know what, let's throw all these people away because we've been dealing with them. These are the politicians of yesteryear, and this is the new change. So for them, everything that they said, the changes, and yes, they used some of the messaging that you're talking about. They kept going back to that corruption. It doesn't matter what you do, you will be dealing with the same, whether it's Wallu or whether it's Benna Bokk Yakaar. What we need is fundamental changes. This is what I saw in Senegal. This is what I saw about PASTEF. This is why sometimes even people come in and they talk about project, and people that haven't even seen it, they were willing to vote for change because they know what they have. Now, I don't see us going in that direction. What we have is still the politicians of yesteryear. The players are the players that contested elections going all the way back to 2006. And these are the same players come in 2026. And so for people to talk about PASTEF, I don't see it. I just don't see it. So
I see where you're going with this thing. But here is the thing. You talk about be able to convince. Yes. That's the key word.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So let's also forget that both Sanko and Jamai, they work in the municipalities, right? They was part of the status quo, right? But they were able to.
No. They did not work in the municipality.
No, but Musa, but you gotta let me speak. I listen to you.
They did not.
No, you don't have to clarify when you bring facts. What I'm saying, contrary to what you are saying, right? So when I'm done, don't interject because I'm trying to land and give me a second, right? So the the president, the party nominee that runs in the current president's party, they both work together, right? He worked with Jamai and Sanko, right? But they were able to tap into people's emotion, talk about bread and butter issues, and bring that force center. Because here is the thing. I think we're talking to Jamal was able to do, especially when he talks about oil. He fits into this corruption phenomenon, saying before we are able to, if we get this oil and the proceeds or majority of the proceeds goes outside, and not benefiting our own citizens. How do we see that? Can we make a change to that whereby at least that will bring someone doesn't have to drive from Zigansor or Bignona to go to Dakar. It's all within, and we are able to benefit. Those are the messages. They were tapped into people's emotion. They were appealing to them and say, come on, we can do a better job. We can do a better job. Not the notion of outsider. They are not an outsider. They were part of the start of their work. They work with Amadou Ba, right? On the Amadou Ba for a long time. So I think the message comes in. How do you strategize and be able to convince people?
This is why I interject. boy be fighting. We used to be fair and balanced. Now it's a propaganda tool against the government. But that's boy Fatty. Now, Sonko and Jumai, they work with Amadou Ba at like our GRA. This was not a political outfit. They were working for the government at that time. Well, the reason why I call them outsiders.
But what was the latest position Sonko held before being a prime minister?
No, but you don't mean money. This Sonko.
No. I'm asking you a question. What position did he held after that position that you're talking about? The latest one before he vie and formulate Pasteur.
No, before Pasteur, no, I don't know.
No. Before the latest position.
Pasteur, remember the guy.
He was nailed, Sir Musa Gang. Huh? So let's continue. Let's go.
Where are you going?
No, I'm getting my coffee. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're on a hot seat today.
How many cups of coffee? How many cups of coffee are you gonna drink today?
Oh, I have to drink 4, man. I get up at 7 in the morning.
Can I have some? Maybe I need
absolutely. I'm drinking cafe tuba. You know.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Seriously.
Yes.
I do like cafe tuba. Just the smell itself.
Yes.
Now, honestly, all I know is this. I don't know much about Sonko. All I know that he used to work at they call it Empo, which is pretty much like the tax division of the Senegalese government. Now, when they came out, they went ahead and they formed Pasteur. So they've been in the wilderness for the past 10, 12 years. That's all I know. Now, they've never been in other words, they've never been, they've never been in government per se, meaning political outfit. So since then, they were working on saying, look, we have to change the system as it is. And they were seen as outsiders. They kind of put them all together. The reason why we are in this mess is because we are sticking with this. So they were seen, fairly or unfairly, as outsiders, and they capitalized on it. We are going to bring about total change. So without a doubt, they were seen as outsiders. Whether that's what makes it easier for them to sell their message is something else. And yes, maybe Senegalese people also were tired of this same old mess. Even when Senegalese did agree that Macky has done a lot for Senegal, in terms of development, like sometimes people would use here and talk about Barrow and building of roads, still Senegalese people were able to go in and vote for the alternative. Now, the question that I was angling is, do you think, because Pasteur did not have a total coalition, Sarian, they just have a coalition of the willing parties, and then they endorse Pasteur as a political party. Do you see that maybe that is something we need to be open to, that we may not be able to get coalition of everybody, but maybe a party could be able to coalesce with other parties that could make the difference and can still be formidable against Barrow?
Okay, let me answer your question about Usman's position, because I like to highlight things, and to buttress my position here. Sonko was part of the National Assembly of Senegal, and he was also a mayor of Ziguinchor, right?
Oh, no, but that was just now come on, that was just yesterday legislative election.
No, Musa. I asked you a position.
No. Before he gets into politics. I don't think that you are talking about. Yes, of course. The legislative elections happened just before the presidential. Come on now, Sarian.
No, I asked you a question, but you did not. You failed to answer that question. That's what I'm trying to share.
I thought
when you're talking about this outsider mantra and try to paint it a rosy picture, that's what I'm trying to say. That they were able to build an effective message. This outsider mantra, I'm saying, I'm just responding to what you're saying. I am saying this outside mantra, saying that he was part of the National Assembly, right? No, he was mayor of Ziguinchor, right? And he was a leader of Pasteur, right? All these things built up to his resume.
Yes.
Right? What I'm trying to say is I think we could leverage off. But what I'm trying to say is Gambia was passive before passive was passive. That's where my argument is landing. Right? And yeah. So this whole thing, I think what you are saying is true. But what I'm trying to say is we have structural problem and we have an organizational problem. And I think that needs to be hashed out first before we keep starting about, an outsider mantle and all that stuff.
You said we have a structural problem. I want to write it down. Structural problem. And then we have organizational problem. So when you say we, who are you talking about?
Well, I say we the Gambians. That's what I mean.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, relax, bro.
No. You're not. Trust me. You're not gonna make me say what I don't want to say on this platform. I am telling you, and I think you know that. No, I think you know that. I said we the Gambia. Because today. Here is the thing. I think of my conversation centers around we. That's why I said the national construct. So there's a bigger bucket right here, and I'm driving all the conversation towards that bigger bucket, which is the national.
No. I don't want to assume because you, baby. That's not what I said. I don't want to get into all that.
We. What cannot I say we? And you want what cannot be distinctively said about the we. And you want me to say if we say we,
the Gambian, we are not all in the same bucket. That's the reality is. Because when you say
that's why we like organizational structure. That's why that the thing that you wrote. That's what it is.
No, what I mean is we will never be in the same bucket because obviously we know for a fact that there is the NPP as a party, and I think when you say we, I don't think you're including them because we are trying to bring about change.
We the people, Musa. We the Republic of the Gambia.
I'm just trying to understand. When you say that we have a structural problem and then we have an organizational problem, and that is in relationship to what? In relationship to?
Well, I guess I'm lost what you are asking.
No, because I'm not understand. When you said, okay, we have a problem in relationship to bring about change, or do we have structural problems?
I did not. I say organization and structure. No, that's what I said.
I'm just trying to understand. And then you say we have an organization.
What are you trying to understand? I guess still now you are not being clear what you are trying to understand. I'm even confused more about what you are asking to be clear.
I'm just trying to understand what do you mean by.
No, I'm with you. You can clap, but what I'm asking you, what I'm saying is, you are not even being clear what you are asking, and you're making more confusion to what you are asking.
No. What I'm asking is when you said, we have a structural problem, and then we have organizational problem. I want you to elaborate. What does that mean? What does that
mean? Say it
again.
Again.
I say when you say
what does that mean? What does that mean? What do you mean? What does that mean?
No, I'm trying to understand because I'm going to hear it.
No. I am not clear what you are asking, and I think you gotta ask me what I mean.
Over the phone? Let me ask Sayang. My brother said he wants to talk over the phone. Sol Baji.
Yeah, no problem.
But Paul, how come you can't come on live and direct? What's up?
He can come.
Oh, you eating breakfast? Where do you live at? Washington, you eating breakfast now? What's up with that?
No, we're almost 12, man. The Seoul is in what? Central time, I believe.
No, he's in Washington.
Washington, D.C.?
Yeah. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Oh, that's Eastern.
Yeah. So, Youngfa.
Yeah, Manvi.
Yeah, we definitely want you to join the conversation. Sariang, can you hear him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Saul.
My brother Sariang, I think he's holding the fort for all of us. Amanda
Mungladega.
So, Musa.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go to the like, why don't no matter what more I'm got last weekend when we had when you guys were discussing,
Ask the viewers whether they can hear Saul. I think you gotta ask the viewers whether they can hear
yeah.
Saul.
Can you guys hear him? Let us know, guys, if you can hear him, like the viewers.
Yeah, I can. How do I call in without being on camera?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I think it's better. I think it's better.
Okay, I'll send you the link.
Thank you very
much. Yeah. Brother Soryang, let me send Saul the link. Yeah. Keep talking, bro. Keep talking.
No, Musa. If I say we, I mean it falls under that bucket because obviously, Musa, all of you and I, Coach, and the viewers. I think majority, despite your political lean, agrees that the status quo is unsustainable. And there's a different mechanics and formula how to leverage or how to, get Gambians out of this mess. Now, I'm going to acknowledge, you talk to people, I'm not going to downplay that stuff. People are still upset about 2016. People are upset about disintegration of the coalition 2016. We have to acknowledge that. We, the people, right? So we got it. We have to acknowledge that. Now, how do we acknowledge that? Be receptive of people's criticism and how they felt betrayed. And we have to acknowledge that. And we got to do a good job of tailoring a different direction. And I think if you're not acknowledging that, you are setting yourself up for failure. I think it's just true. But in that aspect, I think if there was much structure built in and people were held accountable, I think we are going to be in a different position than we are in today. And that is lessons, there are lessons to be drawn out of. And particularly UDP, where everybody say UDP, this UDP. And UDP also, I said this and I wrote this many times. You just cannot lean on just your party supporters thinking that that's going to put you at the top. That's not going to happen. Whether you have a different take on 2021 or not, I think what it needs to happen is we need to work on the modalities to assure folks. All right. And I think that is lacking still in our conversation because we restore into more of a defensive posture than acknowledging the pitfalls that created that environment. And we have to get out of that environment. And I think that's my message. That is my message of we. And that is my message of unstructured lack of organization, Musa. With that, I yield the floor to my brother, man, Mr. Baji. You got it.
All right. Well, at least you answer my questions after kind of tiptoeing and wavering all over the place and waffling, and you finally decide to answer it. So, all right. So,
Musa, nakam yirang madega.
You la dega Mubasa.
Why Musa? You were all over the place, man. That's
what really?
Listen, Sariang asked you a very simple question when you were talking about Pastef, and he kept repeating it 4 to 5 times for you to tell him where Osman Sonko was prior to him becoming vice president in the election. All you should have said was he was a member of parliament, and then he ended up becoming mayor of Sigansor, but he didn't do that. So you were frustrated, my brother Musa. I mean, it's a simple question.
I'm so thank you very much because that's all I was looking for. That's all I was looking for.
I'm gonna the question had a lot to do with the context of what I said, that these people were outsiders. Understand? So when he posed the question, because at first
he didn't want to answer.
When he posed the question, I'm thinking because Pastef did not just happen when they won the presidency. Obviously, I mean, yes. This is somebody who contested even in the last Senegalese elections. Was it 2020, something like that? So obviously they've been around for 10 years. So his question, but they were still seen as outsiders. Even at the National Assembly, they were still seen as outsiders. It's an outside force compared to the status quo of Walu, Benaboka Yakar, those same old politicians So context, we've been a question, but I'm not that's where he was going. But anyway, keep going.
So I think what you probably should have been able to clarify, this is my opinion with Sariang, was, okay, they may not necessarily be outsiders, but they were against the status quo. And the status quo was these other people who have been there empowering Macky Sall. Some of them left, some of them were there supporting what Macky Sall did. And then eventually they figured, okay, we can't follow this guy. This boat is going to sink. Let's escape town. And so that happened. But I think Sariang is saying something. I want our audience to understand that when you speak in a different perspective and have the divergence of views from what Sariang is saying, that doesn't mean you support the status quo. You have to balance it. And unfortunately, my brother boy Fatih, doesn't seem to understand that for the people, by the people is not for the government. It's for the people, by the people. They don't represent any government. Even if the UDP, which I love, everybody knows that, if they were to be government of the day today with Hussein Udabo as president, if they did not fulfill the mandate that they promised the citizens, Sariang and you and Coach and everybody else will call them out.
Absolutely.
So this is what I want people to understand. But anyway, Musa, Sariang is speaking about a construct, and I think I understand where he's coming from. This word, system change or coalition, it puts Gambians to sleep. You know what I mean? Because they're just tired of hearing this name. We've debated this before. We came up with the fact that, okay, maybe there was a coalition, but the system change, which was supposed to be part of the equation, never fell through, well, actually fell through. So the point is, how do we tell the people that we're going to form something? If you use the word a construct, I think it's going to be a little bit of a higher word when we consider the literacy of our citizens. No insult to them, but they are used to this word coalition, and they've seen it happen in Senegal and in other countries. So maybe, I'm just saying, maybe this is the way to go, but it's a high order. So what I'm saying is, I agree with my brother today, Sariang. And I know in privacy, you would say yes. Because, Musa, you're trying to ask us to bring you to this part of the conversation to agree and see the points of why we must have a coalition, and that should be the answer. And yes, you're right. Opposition parties, during the Yahya Jammeh era, they had to do this because there was no other option. But Musa, I'm here to tell your audience today that it is pretty much the same as Yahya Jammeh and worse. You know why I think it's worse? WORSE is because Adama Barrow does not have the wherewithal. Adama Barrow is becoming more and more entrenched and dangerous. And Adama Barrow is taking us, I'm going to say this, the last time I checked the borrowing that we did with the World Bank, $249 million in June alone. And that is on the red if you look at the chart that they produce. And I'm wondering, I don't know this for a fact, that the reason why they're trying to siphon off or sell off some of these national assets is part of this restructuring that they're not telling us. I don't know this. I'm just thinking this is probably why they're doing that. But Musa, this government is out of money. They are taking loans every month, which makes me think that they're taking those funds to pay salaries. And they're now coming to tell us, we can see between the lines, telling members of parliament that they don't have money, but then they can create all these commissions. Speaking of these commissions, Musa and Sariang, I ask Gambians, Musa, and this bothers me a lot. You have an IGP, you have a constitution, the 1997 constitution. I'll talk about that with the diaspora in a minute. But here you have all of these things in the books of our law that indicate that if somebody is engaged in financial malfeasance, they have to be prosecuted. The IGP must go to the court, get an order from the court by justifying the reason why person XYZ should be arrested, take him to face a judge and let the judge prosecute them. That person can get a lawyer. If they can't afford it, let the citizens pay for that attorney on his behalf and have him stand to trial. And if he is found wanting, you get him locked up. The other thing that I'm talking about, Musa, is Why are we saying government has no money? But Adama Barrow has no problem creating commissions and wanting to pay these people 6-figure salaries monthly. It makes no sense. Can't we see that this is a problem for us? Which brings me to this conclusion that we have a much more daunting problem, that the direction that this country is headed. And I'm going to pause here for a minute because what I'm going to say is very scary, Musa. But if we don't want to have a Gambia that mirrors what is happening in Haiti, now is the time for the opposition parties to really start considering this problem. This is a high order. I know people would push back by saying you can't compare this to Haiti. But Musa, there are all the fabrics and all the indications that foment what I'm talking about. Drug dealing is happening in that country. Corruption is completely out of whack. And the military is sitting there wondering, when are we going to get salaries increased? People are not earning the income that they need to earn to be able to pay for their bills. Inflation is high, Musa, and we see a government that is incompetent. This is the problem of what we're faced with. In Haiti today, Musa, we have drug dealers who are handling 80% of the country right now. It didn't start yesterday. It started several years ago following the earthquake that happened. Was it in 2002 or 2020 or something like that? 2002, I believe. That earthquake and the corruption with the president ended up having Moise removed out of that place. And they have not had an effective government to this day. But some of the wealthiest people still have an area that they live in and they're being protected. It is a mirror image of what I see in our home country. There's 2 million people. There's no reason our country should be taking these millions of dollars and not plowing that money back into our economy. This is the problem that we're faced with. And so we look at Pastef, we should be able to say, what have they done right? And what can we learn from them and apply it? And people are arguing that they looked at us. They looked at what we did in 2016 and they applied it. And they succeeded. Now, there are two different takes, Musa, schools of thought, you would say. Senegal is a little bit different from us. They have a nationalistic point of view. People are more inclined with what is in it for our country than what is in it for party. But we cannot push back political parties. They've been here for a long time. We need to engage them. A potential coalition or construct should actually give the political parties that have fought and sweat and died or had their people be killed as a result, take maybe a higher pie. This is me talking. I'm not talking on behalf of my coalition for system change. This is my thinking. And then you think about creating a parliament, just like what Sonko and Jomai and these other guys who Pastef did. When you have a president, go to the local elections, parliamentary elections, have every political party participate independently and fund them. The diaspora should be able to raise money because we need to change this trajectory, Musa. We want to retire and go back home. I can tell you stories about what is happening in that country with people being killed on a constant basis. How do we get ourselves engaged as members of the diaspora? The constitution of the country, according to the Supreme Court's ruling 2 years or 3 years ago, it clearly stated that the diaspora qualified to vote under this constitution, and they should participate in election, either vote or be voted for. Let's go after that, because this constitution that Musa you're talking about, and I agree with Sariang again, there's no way Fabakary Tombonjata or Sidin Jai will pass this constitution, and Adama Barrow is lying. He's not being honest to all of us. We need to change the trajectory. Let the diaspora start putting their money together. And this is what Sariang is saying. Ku déglu fi programme bi na nga xam ne tey soo toogee nga ne suma yoon nekku si nga la óor ne Gambia du wécceeku lu fekk yow yaa jël sa xaalis nga def ko fa. You know what? The tragedy of the commons. Sariang, you watch everybody should look at this crash course video that talks about if you want to change something, everybody must chip in equally, or at least a certain amount. If we don't do that, we're not going to change our country. Put talk man, I am capable of doing something, but I'm not willing to do it. They're two different things. You can be capable, but you must be willing. Somebody who can do something and is willing is better for me than the person who's capable but not willing. So that is where we need to take the conversation. Let the diaspora think about what needs to happen tomorrow. If we don't remove Adama Barrow, are we going to be better off or worse? Thank you, guys.
Okay, bro. One thing
Thank
I
you,
have to
Saul.
say, I just want to respond to. I mean, you've said a lot. Some I agree, some I don't agree. And the ones that I think is not only inflammatory, but this Gambia being a failed state like Haiti.
It is a
Those do
failed
I,
state.
hold
I
on,
stand by. I
bro.
stand by.
Come on, piece. I allow you to say your piece. Allow
Yeah,
me
but I
to
can
say my
interject.
piece.
You interject when
Hold
Sariang
on.
is talking anyway. Why
It's
can't I interject?
inflammatory, and I think it's misguided. That's not where Gambia is. You can disagree with the government. You can disagree with their policies. Gambia is not a failed state. We're holding it together. We have a government. We have a judiciary. We don't have bandits running the country. So to compare Gambia, no matter how much you want to disagree or be an opposition, do it in a very substantive manner. Secondly, you talked about we're tired of coalition and system change. You are the same people that rolled out something for 2026. You had other phrases to use. You use coalition for system change. So if anybody is behind the parliament, it's you guys. So don't
Yeah,
tell me
Musa, no,
you
I
guys
did not
are the
say
ones
I
that
did not say we're tired. We're tired. No,
you
you
said
gotta
that.
take that
You
back.
said
No,
you said
no. No, I did not say we're tired of.
I
I said
listen.
Musa,
I said fatigued by
I
that.
listen.
No,
You
what?
get
But I have
excited
to
and then you
correct
go.
you, man. Gambians are fatigued by the word coalition or system
Then why
change.
would you change that? Why would you choose that?
That's what I'm
If
saying.
you,
I was trying to make the case by maybe using the word construct would be a better idea, but how many people will
I mean,
understand
I'm
that?
fine with construct. I don't
No,
have
no,
a
no, no,
problem with construct.
Are you
But
twisting
the
my thoughts?
construct that
Okay,
Tariang
go
is
ahead.
using is different from your system for coalition change. I mean, I have to believe that. Unless Sariang is saying that Moyena Boka Club, then okay, then you guys can change the wording or the phrase. But I respect, I mean, your views are your views. And I mean, it is what it is. But again, for anyone, including yourself, to sit here and tell me that asking or demanding for a new constitution before 2026 is a ridiculous idea that cannot happen. Or
I did not say ridiculous. Again,
on.
you see this guy? This strategist guy is very smart. The way
Yeah, but he did not say, Musa, he did not say it's ridiculous. Quit using the phrase that the man didn't say.
No, Sarian, you have liberty and monopoly of what you say. Why I'm saying digga.
One day, it's ridiculous. Try to paraphrase the man correctly. Be fair. No, but he didn't say ridiculously. I said there are a lot of headwinds, right? There are challenges. You know that.
I mean, I'm not saying there are challenges. I'm not saying
okay.
It's going to happen or it's not going to happen. What I'm saying is the system change, the change that we all would like to see, money, that change will happen if we can have this three-legged stool. Three-legged stool.
Well, one day you tell me lu leer de.
Therefore, for me to think that I'm being too optimistic.
Yes, I did. I think the challenges, knowing the challenges and who is out there as the freaking speaker and deputy speaker, that's it.
You think forming a construct that you haven't even elaborated or fleshed out that is doesn't have headwinds and it's just easy. You really
I think my national construct, I give you an opportunity and you flush it out. You start naming opposition leaders, how they could come in and form a thing. Musa, here's the thing.
You are no, sorry.
Hold on. Okay, give me an opportunity. Give me opportunity. Here's the thing. Every election cycle, and I think as a strategist, I think you probably catch it, but every election cycle, things might change, things might evolve. We had the coalition 2016. That itself, I am going to tell you right now, even some of folks in the Gambia, if they hear that, what comes into their mind? We're going to ground zero and it's going to disintegrate again. But how do we draw lessons from that and form a thing that maybe the meats and potatoes, the mechanics of it, brings people together, but in a different setting. And as I said, all these things need to be acknowledged. I'm not going to say nothing happened. Everything is fine and dandy. Painting painting a rosy picture of what, no, there's work to be done. Even to get those people on the table to talk about that, they're going to push back. And rightly so, they have the right to push back because of based on past lessons. That's what I'm trying to say, Musa. I understand it. One day they waffle, they lamb, they push back, they go sideways and all that. Si digga bi nañ wax si digga bi.
Do you know why I settled for this three-legged stool? Because of experience and the difficulty of bringing these parties together. When Yom Solbaji launched to Atlanta, this was one of the problems that I have. I'm like, I know how difficult it is for these parties to come together. And I wasn't surprised when they did not even show up. I know it's a heavy lifting. It's very difficult. That is why why don't we look at things that we can all agree on? And that is a new constitution whereby in a second round of voting, we are forced to form a coalition. Really, because you have to have absolute majority. I am convinced that Barrow cannot get over 50% of the votes. I'm really convinced of that. Even if
Musa, I think what you are saying. Trust me. I mean, you know, this is why I said I love your optimism. And let me. I'm reading
we have to sell it.
the brothers.
We have to sell it. We have to sell it.
Yes, but I agree. I agree 100%.
Then we will not be able to demand it. We have to demand.
How are you going to demand it on the current condition, Musa? On the composition? Hold on. And this is where I'm driving at. How do you demand? If it's that easy, the first time it went down there, it would have been passed. But how do you demand and get results under the current conditions? How do we go about it? I guess that's what my question. How do we go about it?
Simple. Huh? If you remember, simple. When we had a dictator that was killing people, and Gambians were scared to talk. What we did as a people was we demand for these parties to come together. We said this is the only way that this could happen. This is the only way that we can bring an end to tyranny. And we kept hammering it. Ultimately, it happened. Nothing, I'm telling you, nothing is going to happen unless the citizens demand it. If we say we want a new constitution.
How do we go about demanding this?
Didn't you hear what I said?
No. Oh, hold on a second, Musa, we know. Well, no. So okay. When we took the constitution, the draft constitution to the parliament, why did it fail?
Simple. Because the retroactivity clause was the major failure. Because non-MPP and also the lack of political will from the government. Because they thought, they find every excuse, but the retroactivity, I think if we were to say, okay, retroactivity, fine, we're going to leave it to the Gambian people. Let's go ahead and pass the constitution, even with the retroactivity clause. Even if that were to happen, we will be looking at a Gambia at a term limit. Secondly, there is going to be a 50+1. You know what I mean? The most important thing, all I'm saying is, yes, it was a missed opportunity, but if we demand it, if political parties, because each and every, there is not a single party that doesn't believe we have to have a new constitution come 2026. They do believe it. If they demand it, people demand it, civil society organizations demand it. They're even talking about it already. There is a bill in the National Assembly. So this thing can happen. Now,
okay, Musa, let me push back. I think what you are doing, and some of your supporters on online, Mr. Chairman orders, think we don't understand what you are saying. I very much understand, and I read the Constitution, right? But what I'm trying to say is, even though that retroactive clause is still there, right? As of today, what was the discussion around that? Is there an agreement or negotiation around that?
The draft, obviously, they haven't worked on it yet. They haven't worked on it to what is in and what is out. They haven't you're talking about the draft that was there. Yes, the retroactivity clause is there. Man, personally, even with the retroactivity, I will say, damn it, let's pass it as it is. Ultimately, we have the final say. Even with the retroactivity clause, let's even say it is there.
If you say we, what do you mean?
The Gambian people, us. Clear as day. I'm going to tell you, do my lamb. I don't do that.
No. You said us, but no. You are saying. I think you bring it. You know, man. I want clarity. So you are saying, if I understand you correctly, you're saying the retroactive clause still, despite it's still there, right? And it's still there, and they hadn't had that discussion, and you and I both cannot tell how members are going to vote one way or the other, because we've seen this before.
We cannot tell. All I can do is go.
Okay. No. Give me a second. I think we're getting somewhere. I think we're getting somewhere here. My question to you is, even with or without, whether that's going to pass is still, it's questionable, right?
Of course.
Yes. So here is the thing. That, unlike you, I am now putting all my hopes on that. I am saying, if that didn't go, right, based on everything that is happening around, what is the fallback plan? How do we get there? How do we mobilize? How do we demand? That's what I'm saying. Saying that, it is. They are National Assembly, but these are the people who are very inconsequential. They instead of working for the Gambian people, they are working for themselves based on everything we've seen since they've been elected into office. That also gives me a little bit of pause. So I am asking, how do we navigate? How do we demand? What are the mechanics and formulas involved?
If you want me to sit here and tell to you, now, no certain terms, this thing is going to pass. The National Assembly members are going to pass it. We're going to go to a referendum. Gambians in their numbers will vote for it. You know what? I cannot tell you all that. I don't know.
Musa, you've already answered yourself. You really have answered yourself.
How do I answer myself? It's kind of crazy to think that I think you guys need to go back.
It's a very critical question.
No, but the milestone mutontula.
Yeah, that's large, bro. That's my large. You know. Musa. Essentially, what you just did, you put a big question mark on the thing that you will argue for, right there. And here is what I mean by that. I'm going Musa. They were on law school now. Why am I trying? I started the LSAT. Like a time my son was born, so there was a lot on my head, my shoulder. I was earning minimum wage, so I dropped it. But when I started studying for the LSAT, there were three things that were really being required for you to even consider before you take the LSAT. There's what they call critical thinking, logical thinking, and analytical thinking. If I gave you these three words and I want you to put them in the order in which they should follow each other, the first thing should be what, in my opinion. Buguma answer question, but this is what I think you should be doing. All of us.
Who, me?
Man, with these three words, how do I put them in order? If somebody puts out a statement like you just did, okay, and I have logical, analytical, or critical, what do I think about what you're talking about? So, you're a strategist. You have to be very analytical in analyzing the statement that somebody has said. Does this statement make logic? Okay. And then now you have to critically think of how you apply it. This is my thinking. Manola halat. So legi yoso wahene. This constitution binganeka the driver that this is something that we should go for. But at the same time, just like Sariang said, there's a big question mark about passing this law because we were there before. And you, Musa, in the beginning of the program, if I hear you correctly, were arguing about the strong force that Adama Barrow has, that if we don't get our acts together, we will have a repeat of what happened in 2021. And here's a guy who is completely against this very constitution because he threw it away, number one. And he is now telling us that he wants to put this on a referendum. We know the time, there's not enough time for us to be able to do that. But even if he did, and he said, let's go to parliament, let's put this on a referendum, and it passes, hypothetically, because I don't think how it goes through that parliament with Sidinjai and Fabakary Tombonjara. They know what is at stake. So if it passes, hypothetically, What do you think Adama Barrow is going to do if he does not agree with this, what you call it again, retroactive law that he is against, and some of the other things? Don't forget, it's not the only thing that Adama Barrow is against. What do you think Adama Barrow would have done? If Adama Barrow was serious, Musa Jeng, he would have said, you know what, my time is up. Let's pass this constitution and send it to a referendum. I am not going to participate in an election. 10 years is enough for me. And you were against, you were arguing against. What deglu Musa? What deglu boy?
You guys wanna, first of all, you wanna write your own constitution.
What deglu bro?
No, because lolo tamit am garek. I mean, danga walo hamne muna am. You know what I mean? Or you have control over.
Well, how do I conclude? I just gave you those 3 words that I'm trying to use to apply to what I'm trying to get at. If we went to a referendum, and Adama Barrow uses all of the resources available at his disposal and goes and campaigns against this, and a good number of people, enough, agree with him, like they did in 2021, and then this referendum fails, where are we? This is the risk that we need to think about. These are the 3 things.
Let's say, okay. Let's even say, just to go with you. We go through the whole process to the 3rd reading. And I mean, and it goes out there in the public, right? The Gambian people to have a vote on it, and then it fails. Then we are back to 1997. Okay. If we don't do all that, we're still looking at 1997. Look at what this Mr. Wada said. I think this guy is very smart. Musa Jeng, I've said these sermon things to many times about the draft constitution. Over and over again, we need to compromise with Barrow and his allies to get a new constitution with fundamentals like absolute majority, diaspora voting, security institutional reforms. Making of a constitution, you're not going to like everything. Let's look at importance to us. But at this point, man, personally, if you give me a constitution where there is a term limit, I love it. If you give me a constitution that there would be a 2nd round of voting, then nobody can win without the absolute majority, I love it. To me, these are very, very, very critical. All the other stuff, they are equally important. But if you give me a constitution that gives me that, I seriously believe one can anticipate change come 2026. Because we
I have a response to my brother there.
I'm not trying to
I have a response to my brother and on you too.
Okay.
What he highlighted in his thing is really great. But did that happen? I mean, he's talking about compromise. We got to keep compromising with Barrow for eternity, right? That's what it is. So basically, here is the thing. My question to you is diaspora voting. For example, diaspora voting. What are the mechanics of compromise to that? What are some of the stipulation is going to be towards that? Because we heard, hold on. We heard IEC saying it involves a lot of money. Are we just going to pass and say compromise? Then they say, well, we don't have money. We cannot support that endeavor.
I don't mean.
No, hold on a second. Musa, you guys cannot continue to impose these things on us. That we cannot. So here is the security and institutional reforms. Hold on. Institutional security reforms. We had a TRRC recommendation. They did not even implement those things. The people who are still in there are still there. What assurance are we going to have to compromise to say, okay, we're going to have a buy-in when they maintain the same status quo? I'm just confused about, let's negotiate. What are we going to negotiate? There's rampant corruption. He doesn't have the backbone. He doesn't have the political will. He doesn't want to take leadership and hold people accountable. So you want us to hold him accountable to come for what?
It's a different kind of
argument. No, it's not a different kind of. The things that he highlighted, that's what I'm trying to say. And you have to, he's the most reasonable. No, Babakar can come in and sell his agenda and tell me what are the stipulations around that to agree with Barrow, then I will be very receptive of it.
People are saying
there is absolutely nothing that Barrow does so far that he said in his highlight that's going to, one way or the other, we need to compromise for it. Why?
all Mr. Wada is saying, and I'm
no, Musa,
right
it's
with
my
him.
turn now. Musa, it's my turn.
Okay, go ahead. So,
Yeah, even though I'm not on Munekumasi Plateau B, why Bangsi Plateau B?
no,
You know what I
Yaki
mean?
Plateau be Mombasa.
Okay.
No, you are Sol, you are being very independent, and today your strategy and your political analysis is deep. And for that matter, you hold the strategic mantle today. For all I can say, man, continue, Mr. Saul. You got the floor, brother.
I wonder what coach and Banka are going to say about this. Why, Musa?
Yeah.
So, Babukar, we have to accept people to argue and have divergence of views, but they have to be able to defend their statements, which he did, and Sariang is able to rebut. But let me add something to that. Of course, Sariang did rebut the guy by asking him to come and explain. So, Musa, I'm going to help. Adama Barrow nini nyoko elect ñu tek ko fa. Adama Barrow mo wax nit ñi ne dafa put the constitution on the table for people to have a referendum. Adama Barrow mo ñu jox the money that you and I paid as taxpayers to put this document through. They came here, they came to everywhere else. They spent what? What are they saying? According to the chairman, he said 217 million when you add all the numbers. This is what I remember, Sarian, that was what was spent for this draft constitution. The same Adama Barrow went to parliament and lobbied to have this thing thrown in the dustbin. Now you and I, you Musa Jeng and my brother Babukar want us to negotiate with Adama Barrow. And this is what I talked about, those 3 words, to negotiate with Adama Barrow, to give him a chance to get what he wants, and we get what we want. When in fact, the majority of the citizens of the country said, we put you there, we're paying your salary. $5 million is based on the numbers that I saw every year. To do what? The guy has not given us any ROI. And now we want to sit down and negotiate with this guy so that he can do what? When his term is supposed to end, he hasn't delivered. You know what them talk, Adama Barrow, you negotiate a mom. So go to Adama Barrow, we something he wants, and then we take something we want. And this is the way we want to run our country when the citizens of the Gambia say it. And I support the UDP for that. That if Adama Barrow strikes one single letter out of the draft constitution, everything falls apart. Because the people have spoken, Musa. Guys who do what is the needful that they call in parliament. Let him either pass this parliament.
Let me say this.
Musa, Jehaluma boy, Jehaluma. Bro, Jehaluma boy.
Okay, so keep going.
So Adama Barrow Buge mo earn some kind of dignity. The little of what he may have left, he should say, I am not going to participate in this coming election. Let's put this document to pass, and I will support it. But as long as he wants to wiggle around and wink with us and tell us, Tedamaron, Elegdumaron, this guy is giving us all the signals that he wants to entrench himself, and he cannot be somebody we can trust to negotiate with. The people that should negotiate is the Gambians and the opposition parties that want him out of there to make sure that we go by this 1997 constitution, form a coalition or construct someone at that, go to the elections in 2026 and push for the diaspora to participate in the election and remove this knucklehead.
Unfortunately, whatever you think of Barrow, which I think is your right, but they are also for him to stand there and say, okay, I'm not going to participate. There are a lot of Gambians who believe that he's the man for the job. I'm not one of them. And obviously you're not one of them. I wish majority of us really believe that. That's not where we are. This Sana Barrow Dabo, Sana, he raised something that I cannot agree with. He's absolutely right, that the current constitution clearly did not even stop social reforms, does not stop the diaspora voting. In fact, people are saying there is nothing in the 1997 constitution that says that the diaspora cannot vote. So you see, man, I'm not talking about the draft constitution.
Why are we not voting, Musa? No, I have to interject. You interjected.
I'm just agreeing with this Mr. Dabo, what he said. And I also agree, Mr. Dabo, that the issue is the political will of the administration. I agree, Mr. Dabo. The point that I'm trying to make, the way that we can cleanse the system, first of all, we need a new draft constitution. There are two principal issues. I'm not constitution. You're not gonna get everything that you want. Man, I understand that.
We get that. That's negotiation. Yes.
I mean, you're not going to get everything, but there are two things that I think is so fundamental in that constitution: term limits and this absolute majority. Like, if we can get those two, we can compromise. Whether Barrow is going to negotiate in good faith or not, whether you like the man or not, whether you trust the man or not, to me, it's neither here nor there. Understand?
Okay.
All I'm saying, I'm telling you, it's neither here nor there. We want.
But that speak in your personal capacity. That might be different from other people, right?
Obviously.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, give us a constitution that can go through the process. All right? That the National Assembly will look at it. It will go through a third reading. A committee will be formed. Committee will then talk. They will compromise, make deals, and then we will have a constitution that we can take to the Gambian people. They will vote, and then we'll have a new constitution and say bye-bye to this dictatorial constitution that we've had for the past 20-something years. Understand?
Musa,
to me,
well, no, understand, huh?
That will be the beginning to bring about change and sanitize our democracy. That's all I am saying. Now, do I trust that the administration, they do have the political will for even the diaspora to vote? I don't think they do. But it's not left to them. We are demanding it, and we can get it. That is why few individuals, including Pasamba, they went to the Supreme Court and take their case. I mean, the Supreme Court said there's nothing stopping us from participating in the process. So again, nothing happens in a vacuum. You demand it. That's all I'm saying. If we're able to get that, that will be the beginning, as far as I'm concerned, for systemic change in our electoral process.
Thank you, Jam Fana. But they're gonna want Musa. We can talk about it. One person we can point to. I'm all of doing Colere. Wow.
Yeah.
So, it's very, very important. And I think everything centers around that. And my dad used to say, and I'm going to try to translate this in Wolof for you to understand. He used to say, Ako. He always remind me about this. Back in the days. He says, Momia Lonko. Musa, are you listening to what I'm trying to say?
I am 100%. I got to listen.
He keep telling me, Momi Mbuka Nina Kununa. Wole kuke nyoya diat. Understand that so or no?
No, understand.
Mune, nit, ko hamne, dude fatele kudemba, mo ne jefflante. Understand that so all of Boguno?
Yes.
That's what he keep reminding us. Let's all remind ourselves. We can throw these baits, we can throw these jargons, we can say all these things. But what is the central theme here? As Gambians, as citizens, we can blame political parties. We can pinpoint fingers. There is issues. Nobody doubts that. But again, the person who needs to do the honorable thing and create an environment where all these can be achieved is the president of the Republic of the Gambia. And he's not doing it.
Yeah.
Yes, we can demand. I agree. The Constitution doesn't say. But even if we organize, when we organize, what do we achieve? I mean, at the end of the day, we can do all the things we demand. That happened. Folks lobby. You just mentioned Coach and crew went to the court. They did. After all, I think if there was a will, they could have, through the inter-party, they could have called and say, hey, let's have a good discussion. We are all Gambians. What are some of the sticking points that sticks out that people are not compromising on? How do we compromise and pass this? That is not happening, Musa. And I ask you, you keep saying demanding. I say, what are the mechanics? What are the formula we need to deploy in order to end to reach the end game? That didn't happen either. So I'm listening.
Unlike you, I'm going to tell you this today.
No, Musa.
August, no,
okay.
This is August 4th, 2024. I can guarantee you that I'm much more optimistic that we're going to have a new constitution more than you do. I'm not as pessimistic as you are. I seriously believe that we are on a roll, and it's very possible that come 2026, we will be running under a 2026 constitution. I seriously, 2020, a new draft constitution. Yes, it's going to be difficult. Yes, like Karamba would always say, it's like sausage making. There is going to be give and take. There is going to be compromise. But at the end of the day, we need something else. And there is also something else in the pipeline. There are people talking about a private member bill whereby we can introduce this. Because you remember, the 1997 constitution, before it was decapitated, there was second round of voting. You cannot win without an absolute majority. It was there. This is not an entrenched clause. A private member bill could change it. It's not left on him alone. You see, so you guys need to understand that.
We need to create a national construct around that theme to drive that. Maybe. I don't know.
I agree. Unlike you, I don't pick and cherry pick just to be against something. I do agree. It's going to take.
Well, you are making accusations now. At least what we compromise on, we can speak on that rather than throwing shades, right? So at least that is a national construct that where we could build on and have that greater conversation, maybe a wider conversation with citizens, right?
I wanna respond. He said, but Musa, please also agree that a referendum could delay. No, I don't think so, Maria.
The elections.
I seriously do not think so. I mean, we are talking about before we still got 2024. We're talking about the entire 2025, Miriam. Now it's gonna be tough. I kind of agree with you. It's gonna be tough. But if we're committed to do it, I think it's doable. Remember, elections are 2026 in December. So you're talking about literally, Miriam, 2027. So we're still looking at 3 years. You're telling me that we cannot, if the will is there, go through the process, pass it, and then take it to the Gambian people. Remember, if it passes the National Assembly unanimously, it's an easy sell to the average Gambian. They'll vote for it.
But it did not pass, though. It did not pass. No, and I don't.
Huh? If it were to pass, I'm not saying.
If we were to, but how do we make? How do we make that if?
Yeah, Musa, what you just said is if it passed, but now you're pedaling back. You can't be doing
yeah,
that.
I mean, he's pedaling. He's waffling, man.
You're all over the place, bro.
even the cousins are saying today that Musa never have a hard time. I don't know.
There's nothing that I have said that the cousins do not agree.
No, I'm not sold today. I woke up early. I run my mile and a half. Yeah. I made straight up omelette and I got my cafe tuba and I said today I'm gonna take it toe to toe, man, with the man. The strategies, and that's what I did. I drink 4 cups of cafe tuba already with pure pig milk, Musa. I'm telling you.
Oh, you put pig milk on your cafe tuba?
Oh, I put milk. Yeah. No, I'm telling you, cafe tuba. I have to have cafe tuba because if you put too much, it's bitter. And you don't want to take too much intake. You measure it, and I have a pot. I have a big coffee maker, right?
About the milk, though.
I put milk. I have to. I'm not that. Yeah. I have a. So today I said toe to toe. I'm gonna. Today he's energized. He agitated me on the forum. I did not respond. He's going to get on to my case today, so I have to be ready.
But Boy Fatty is taking the fight to you. He said the notion that the platform is not a platform for the government, it's just another testament how this platform has become He's saying that we are against this government. That's what this platform has become. Amadu Sarianga Johoy. For us to be taken seriously, we need to hold everyone to account, including the opposition, which he doesn't do anymore, who are presumably the government in waiting. And then he went on. President Barrow made a comment during his Brikama meeting concerning land allocation to certain individuals. Why don't you come and tell us land allocation to certain individuals? Put the name out there. What are you afraid of, Boy Fati? Who are now calling for him to return the land that was allocated to him. I didn't hear y'all talk about it. Why you could dive in like
right. So you want what are you looking? You want me to respond to Boy Fati? Is that what it is?
I want him to come to the platform and buttress that. And also,
well, I think I'm gonna start with how Trump addressed this. I think first of all, it's a disgrace and it's very, very horrible to start off like this without his president taking responsibility, even though majority of the Gambians said the rhetoric, the statement that was put out of Brikama rally was very divisive and is in tune with the highest office. We haven't seen any responsibility. That's the first thing. And the second thing, I think him, Boy Fati, as a staunch supporter of the president, I didn't see anywhere on his platform or anywhere where he said the president did that conversation or that statement that he put out is divisive, right? I will start with him. Don't preach to the choir. I would like you to lead. This is called leadership, and you didn't show anything. Now your minister of information and your deputy speaker all went and doubled down, being on defensive, and tried to put a statement down there that is even mockery. And I don't even believe that statement came from the minister, because the minister of information, for God's sake, he's a party leader. He was a party leader before he was appointed. And as I know, up to date, he's the party leader. I think he should have set the tone whereby he said, hey, you know what? We need to have a conversation. It's a political season. Tension might be high. Take some responsibility. But what he do? No, he doesn't need to apologize. So I think that is a total disgrace, as Trump said, and you ought to take some responsibility. And that's what I gotta say to you, Mr. Boy Fati. And if you want to have a good conversation, you can join us and we have a conversation. But so far, I haven't seen anything. It's horrible and totally it's a disgrace, right? So I will just use Trump.
So Musa, it's my turn now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, Brother Fati, well, again, I'm glad that the NPP has a representative here that's debating and countering our conversation. But Musa, when was the last time Adama Barrow or one of his people, like the vice president, came to, for the people, by the people, to have a conversation with us? Have they ever accepted an invitation from you to come and talk to the people?
No, we had Dr. Cisse here before. I mean, if you come back, we haven't
speaking
of
recently. Once.
It's my turn.
Recently, also, you know, Sariang, I mean, it's always difficult, not only the government, but even the opposition, to bring them here. We're always trying. I mean, as far as we're concerned, this platform, I mean, we always want to bring government, opposition, and just have a conversation. That's our only motivation.
Musa, in all honesty, the NPP, the high-level people, Sidinja, or any of them, none of them has ever come to this platform.
No,
come on. NPP.
Oh, they will not come so
numerous times. They have been
with all his affiliation or with all his liking of sometimes NPP. He cannot get Sidinja as the deputy speaker to come on the platform. That way he can ask him hard questions like he always put. He did not. Musa did not. He came in. So that's another question that we have to ask him. Dr. Caesar said, I'm going to come here every month. I'm going to try it. Since once he didn't come back anymore, right?
How about your buddy?
So I don't know.
The finance minister, SK. When was the last time he came?
SK Mom Gene Kochiwaji. SK Mom, you always on his case.
So Musa, let me hit some pointers at what you guys are just talking about. The Minister of Information, Dr. Cisse, reading his statement that he posted on What's on Gambia, alluded to statements that supposedly came from the president in responding to the comments that he made in Brikama. The next Tuesday, when he was on Peter Gomez's
Coffee time.
Coffee time,
Yeah.
Peter asked him a question, and his response was he has not spoken to the president since that incident happened. So who gave him the information that he posted on What's on Gambia that seemed to suggest that the president was responding to the concerns of the Gambians and what the citizens are worried about, that he is trying to be divisive in his statement, that he wanted to calm the nerves of the citizens of the country? These are things that we need to really ask our questions about. Ma dellu si back to affaire constitution bi nga nekk di wax ni Musa. I think, okay, I get it, because you have to balance this thing.
I am balancing it. Do you have balancing it?
Affaire constitution bi.
When I came to your program in Atlanta, didn't I highlight these same things?
Yes, you did. But I'm just talking about today, man. Maybe you need to correct yourself a little bit. Now, we did not have opposition parties come in as we wanted, but they sent representatives. Nobody showed up.
Bro. One single opposition
it's my
leader
turn
that
to
came
talk,
to the
Musa.
program.
It's my
Tell
turn
me,
to talk.
please, tell our viewers. I mean, come on now. We've invited opposition parties to Atlanta. We invited them to rally. You remember the rally conference? That was an opposition reaching out. You see, when you do things, what we saw in Atlanta was nowhere close to ever. Seriously. What you got was sidekicks, people who support.
Well, yeah, okay. I get it, Musa. I understand that. And, the guys have told you. What Musa? You can't take
your efforts.
It's my turn, though, Musa. Now I have to talk to her. So, let's wait and see what happens down the road. So we're waiting for that. You said what is going to happen next. Well, based on what they said, man Musumane in any of these coalition arrangements. Why it's always very difficult. And you also answered yourself by saying, then what happened with Yahya Jammeh was a need because of the enormous challenges we were faced as a country. That's not the same right now. And I argue that it probably was, but people need to take a different look at the situation. So I'm going to back to this constitution. Your government indicating the constitution has a possibility of passing. But then at the same time, I hear you saying, in your statement, questions and concerns that it's possible that we may not get there.
Of course.
This is my understanding based on this. Is that what you said? Okay.
Yes.
So now, let's look at this way. Are we better off applying what currently exists with the diaspora participating? In the numbers. This is a research database. Umar Kebe moko def. At a minimum, over 200,000 Gambians in the diaspora would be able to vote based on the current constitution. Now, why don't we push that and hope that this draft constitution may pass, but also make sure that we, first of all, pass and enforce this law that has been confirmed by the Supreme Court. Adeglul, listen to this. I'm going to throw in the red meat. You don't want to hear it. The Supreme Court and the courts are incompetent. They're corrupt. They side with Adama Barrow. They don't want to do the needful. They should have forced the government. They should have forced the government. They should have forced the government. When you are not force the government, you impose and pass this diaspora voting. They resign.
Does not. Let me say this.
It's corrupt.
Let me say this. You are saying, which I agree, that even under the 1997 Constitution, the diaspora should be able to vote, and the total numbers that we have alone could shake or scramble the race. I agree. Now, so you're saying you trust the government that maybe they will be much more.
No.
Hold on.
I never said I trust.
You're telling me.
I never said I will never trust Adama Barrow. Trust him.
If you're telling me, we should focus on that and not the Constitution, because you don't think the Constitution is going to pass, but somehow this one will pass. Okay, based on what? What makes you think they will be much more receptive to?
No, because this is the law right now that exists. We're talking about a law that we want to pass, but this law has already been passed.
Remember. No, Haral. Diaspora voting there is nothing in the Constitution that will disqualify us to vote. But there is a bill, administratively speaking, because the diaspora is not considered, even if you read the constitution, as the 8th region. It always applies the 7th region. Understand? Until and unless they go to the National Assembly and make those changes. Legally,
Musa, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, man.
I'm just telling you.
No, I'm being honest with you. Musa, you cannot discuss.
Is that true or not? I know you like is that true or not?
Huh?
Sorry, young Lai, is that true or not?
Yeah, but so I guess I'm concurring that that's what it was. Musa, it's a ridiculous thing for us to argue.
I am on mute, yes, but it's true, yes.
But sorry,
you want me to affirm? Yes, it's true, Father Musa.
Musa, something because Musa is a statement. Yo as an American citizen. So you de Gambia, didn't la pay you $100 for sa visa. And last or 2 weeks ago, this was a year ago. A year ago, I said that, and you started saying that. Well, you know, I don't think we should have a problem with paying $100. Something along those lines.
Okay. You mean the security fee?
Not the security fee, the visa fee. Why ling our hon moine? Man don't suggest ne. Why are we being forced to pay $100 as dual citizens? Can you an American visa? You were talking along the lines, ne? So they may Gambia smaji boy $100. But then you confirmed the last time you say they may bind you. So Gambian passport being got one. Not everybody has. Okay, why do you think man smart bro? It's gonna be an arm and a leg for me to get their Gambian visa.
No, not necessarily. Man, this is what I do. Take a page from me. Even I told my wife. I'm like, you better make sure that they get their Gambian passports, because you see, the law is the law, whether you like it or not.
Thank you very much.
When you roll into Banjul International and you give them an American passport,
yes,
you're gonna look for the visa.
Correct.
Why don't you apply a visa here at the embassy? Get your visa on your American passport since you are since you are a patriot.
No. I agree with you. Like, if you're going to go to Banjul International, you don't have a Gambian passport. What you have is a U.S. passport that you're going to use. Yes, apply through Washington, pay the fees, you have your visa. When you get to Gambia, no problem. You just show them. The law is the law. Like you, Saul.
Well,
I wish. I think you're cutting me off. But what I'm asking you, hold on, hold on, man. Clarity regular book, because man, I can get Gambian passport, but I did not. You are a patriot, so mandama apply Johe Rankesby, Fay Halisby falling. You just my visa.
Yes.
So why you didn't do that? Why you want them to get a visa with a Gambian passport without getting a visa here? Because it's the same.
No, because they are Gambians, and I refuse to pay visa fee because they are Gambians. So I want to make sure that we follow the letter of the law, and that is for them to have something that will show that they are Gambians. Not to second guess whether they're getting all of. That's what Saul was saying. So that alone, they should use
but you can pay a visa fee and get a visa 5 years.
But he doesn't want to do that, Sharia.
But I don't want to do that.
Why?
You hear what I said?
Thank you.
Why you don't want to do that?
Because I'm a Gambian.
Oh, Jeff, thank you very much. So, Musa, can I now argue? Can I argue based on what you said?
Just because I'm a dual citizen, that doesn't make me come like Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi that I'm Diet Gambian. No, I'm a fully fledged Gambian. That is why during the Constitution, I am even saying, even with dual citizenship, I should be able to run for president. I
think we all need to chip in. If we're in for the Constitution and diaspora voting, Halis Mokode Doyle. So we pay visa, but the fees we gotta pay. So want to swing there is easy. I got 5 kids. I don't want to pay $100
500 put them siran KSB. One day I'm gonna pay $1,500 put get Gambia passport because I don't want to pay it. Now it comes to question. Now government swing the Alma Hallis put fund this. Then
No. Yange jahase.
No,
my
man,
study-
I'm just today. I told you, Sidiga be regular buga them.
Yange jahase.
Well,
Why
Musa,
Sariang? Yeah,
Musa,
we've been. It's almost getting to 4 o'clock, Sol. We
Why-
thank
why-
you
why
for
am I-
coming
why am I
on.
done,
You
Musa?
make
You
it-
inter-
you
you
always.
I needed to go.
No. I'm gonna let you have the last word. I just want to
Okay.
thank you for enriching the program. Definitely, you coming in and then jahas bahas averi and throw. It always helps, especially when
Well, anyway.
when we don't have our activists on steroids here. So we definitely need somebody else that could come and enrich the program, which you have done.
Well, anyway,
Let me
I'm
give you the last
glad to
word.
join.
If
glad
my
to join
fellow
you guys.
agrees, soldier, if he agrees.
No, sir. Sarian Gaite Momoiwaji. Today he actually took it up. He took it to you, Musa. Based on this constitution that you just emphasized, Musa, by saying that what the law says is what we need to do. And Adama Barrow has been the advocate of what the law says is what we need to do, even though I question his behavior because he seems to be acting above the law. If the law has said that the diaspora should participate in the elections, I don't care whether we have a, what do you call it again, a Milky Way constituency or whatever you call it. What the Constitution says, if it says the seven constituency or whatever, that does not matter. The Supreme Court should have said that if they said you have the right to participate in the election, but they did not say that. They said Gambians should participate, and I am standing here to tell Gambians as we close that this guy Mambure Njai was in Parliament in the tail end of his term as a minister, and he was questioned by members of Parliament. Were the diaspora supposed to vote? And they didn't vote, and he said yes. And they asked him, we allocated funds, 217 million, 224 million, with the IEC for the diaspora to participate. Where is the money? And he said, don't ask me, you have to ask the IEC. If the IEC took the money, then I would argue that they knew that we were capable of participating in the election, but they never followed through. So the question is, can Moneka flout the laws? The government should just do the right thing. They cannot apply laws in areas where it favors them and then drop the ball intentionally on areas where it doesn't favor them. For the people, by the people, I sign up or sign out. Sol Baji from Maryland.
Sol Teda,
Thank you, Sol.
You were the real strategist today. Today you break it down. Believe
Why,
me,
Sol?
you break it down like nobody's business today. You break it down unbelievable. Believe me.
Final question.
Wow.
So final question before we just go real quickly.
Wow.
I know you guys had your Atlanta meeting and all that. So where do we go from here
No,
now?
even in fact, I forgot one thing I was gonna ask Saul.
Yes.
About he talks about breaking the law. So you know, I'm just reading Mr. Waters' statement and I was laughing because you keep saying the back and forth. How are you gonna go back and forth when they took the governors, put them as deputy permanent secretaries? When the court get the way, they went back behind instead of to stand and respect what people are saying. Now, what the technicalities with the court and put them back in their position. Why do you say to that? If he's talking about the reform, I think he needs to start with the government doing the right thing. And I know, Sol, you didn't talk about that, but hey, you got 1 minute to say it before Musa close it out on that one.
Oh, you're talking about the fact that this guy, you know, Sarian, I have to go back to what I just said. Now, maybe I use strong terms or strong words against the courts. And I understand, Musa, because sometimes when you have things that you may have to go in and maybe try to stand in front of this judiciary or these justices, we need to be careful of how we say it. They are flouting the laws and they're allowing Adama Barrow to do it. Because Adama Barrow came, Sarian, a few months back and said the courts must have to side with them or else. And we see what they're doing now. They rule in the favor of an opposition party or somebody who took the government to court. And they turn around and allow the government to play the games and twist things, and then they allow the government to win. So it does not make any sense. The law is the law, Sarian. If those people who were elected or selected by Adama Barrow were found wanting, and the government respected it and acted on it, then why are they going back and breaking the law as they have done before numerous times? The court should stand its ground and demand that the government follow with the judgment. And if they want to against it, let them go and send that to a court where they can argue over that issue. But they can't just sit back and just all of a sudden come back. All right, we're going to do it this way. And we all see what Adama Barrow is doing. They continue to break the law, and the courts are silent in most cases. Now, when they win small cases, we all jump and say the courts are very impartial. The courts are not impartial. That's my word.
Well, I'll let Babukar Wada have the last word, because what he said is very insightful, and I like that.
Yeah, well, I just responded to him because
I wanna read it to give it a lot of.
No, yeah, you can read, but I just imposed a question. I just posed a question to him in relation to what he's saying. I think Babukar. Yeah, here's the thing. I think Babukar.
Why are you reading it?
Point fingers to people without actually taking responsibility.
I want this thing to be the last word.
What is compromise? What is negotiation?
Hold on. Musa Jeng tells Sariang Marong that we need to compromise in order to make progress. Yes. This back and forth is not taking us anywhere. Yes. Let's make sure we have the fundamentals in any new constitution or legislation. Key understand the fundamentals. Term limit.
And
every
Sunday. We do not understand. No, we don't understand. Babukar today. Babukar is going to understand the fundamentals.
Can you please allow me to finish reading? Barrow is playing games.
I think that is misguided, man.
We need to understand that by now that he's playing games. Yes, Babukar, we get that. We will be without a new constitution or any new legislation come 2026. Bro, you are a real political strategist. Yo hamga nakala. Barrow has no desire for a new constitution, yo hamga nakala, than the one from the 1997, and he prefers a watered-down constitution. We all get that. But Babukar, yo hamgane, with a new constitution, term limit, second round of voting, diaspora voting, we have scrambled the race come 2020.
Platitudes. If you ask me, it's nothing but it's platitudes.
Thank you, sir.
Where is the beef?
Thank you, Sarian.
Platitudes. Where is the beef?
I tell you, where is the beef?
No. What I'm saying is platitudes. It's full of platitudes, and where is the beef? And I think the mechanics and the formulas where we can achieve that has not been articulated for 3 hours that we've been on this platform today.
Thank you very much.
With that, I yield the floor, Mr. Strategist. Until next Saturday, we will meet again and we'll have a robust. Good luck,
my brother.
Fair winds and calm seas to the President of the Republic. And hopefully, God gave him the heart and the mind to steer Mama Gambia in a different direction.
Absolutely.
You will
Thinking
have
more of himself, thinking more of his political alliances, to think about the country. Dafa wara sama batam, kolare dafa am solo. Nit ko xamne daf de fatele ku demba. Ku de fatele ku demba. Mo ne jeflante dara. So it's time we hold him accountable. Jerejef.
I will not add anything to that. You'll have the last word, Sailor. Till next Sunday, we will be back, inshallah, again for a robust conversation. Thanks all, Baggy. Thank you,
wow.
116 billion went through the drain. That's what we need to talk
you have
about.
the last word.
Until then, I salute my folks in Barcelona. You know, the yellow caravan.
I didn't see you get to that though. You kind of
well, what?
You didn't give flavor to the yellow boys.
But I don't have that because the people they didn't give me any flavor to
Musa didn't give him time.
So all right, man. Bye-bye. Sorry, young.